Oh my goodness! Big round of applause.
Wow.
The wonderful RM Raquel Briggs, number one. What a wonderful job you
That's
did on that
amazing.
thing. It's beautiful. Thank
I'm
you.
glad you like it.
Even if you did tell a lie with the genius part,
Oh,
the big liar
well,
face.
I do love you, and I have the
Oh,
power over the intro extra
that's
a
true.
little bit, so I had to slide that in. I was hoping you
Oh
wouldn't
my.
notice,
Uh,
but I love
well,
you, and you are
you too
genius.
kind.
High production values there. Wow. Who had the budget for that?
Everyone's gonna think my mother made it. Oh, thank you so much, number one. It is beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much.
Great. I'm glad you like it.
I hope you all enjoyed that intro for Clobby'S Clubhouse, and welcome to Clobby'S Clubhouse, everyone. I should put out the word again that we're live because it's kind of a new show. People did kind of show up last week, but I don't know who knows we're on. But look who is here already, the great Chris Persia.
Hey.
What's up?
Hello, Chris.
Yes,
Millions of
indeed.
kisses.
As always, buddy. Raymond Feliciano, bro.
Good evening, Raymond.
Hey, buddy. Let's see here. Captain James Lee Skywalker. Hello there, bro.
Hello.
What's up, buddy? Zathras. Good to see you, Zathras. Crazy Junior. Let's see. Who else is here with us? Parrot Head's here. Whoa, Parrot Head. Hey. All righty. Yeah, I'm just going to put out the word that we're live.
Yep. Hail, Parrothead.
Yeah, absolutely. But welcome. Thank you. Welcome, everyone, to Clobby'S Clubhouse. It's great to see you. And here we are with episode 2. Or maybe last week was the pilot. We can say this is the last week was the cage. Maybe this is where no man has gone before. Maybe next week will not be the man trap. Maybe it'll be, I don't know.
I smiled while I was touching the flowers, but there will be no more smiles.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, had to make a cage joke.
Oh, my. No more smiles from number one.
I'm glad there was a series order put in by a network, so now that we have work.
Unless we're a summer replacement show. Remember those? They used to have those. The Prisoner was used as one.
Yeah,
in 1968 for the Jackie Gleason show, as a matter of fact. So weird, eh?
And away we go.
Zathras.
Away we go.
He says, Raquel, let me hear the 3 words I want to hear. Which words? Do you mean
the C word?
Crap. It's crap.
What in particular would be the crap this time? I mean, is a specific particular crap or?
I think he just likes it when I say it's crap.
Or like in was it Batman '89 with Jack Nixon? Crap. Yeah. Mega crap. No. Yeah, I'm just putting the word out here, folks. Let everyone know we are alive, like the electric company.
Yeah.
It's filmed before an audience. It is alive. Yeah.
In color.
And
we're dating ourselves,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. A Quinn Martin production.
What do you mean in color? You're like, the kids are asking me, like, on Gilligan's Island or Batman 66. It's like, why does it say in color?
Because very few people had it.
Yeah.
If you had a black and white TV, it still wasn't in color.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's worse, where people are like, what are you talking about? That was in color, because they're unaware of the fact that families of more modest means, of course, had the black and white set in the tube TV, and color was not available, even if it was in color. So, if you had to watch Gilligan's Island in black and white, all the way through black and white, it was probably your set. Few younger people are aware of that.
Yeah, I think it was 8th grade and we got color TV. I'm trying to remember.
We got these little colors,
black and white.
Yeah, we got these little black and white ones for our rooms when we thought that was big stuff to get those when we were kids for one Christmas. And forever I thought the 3rd season of Lost in Space was in black and white until I got walked into the living room one day. Yeah, the first 2 seasons were in black and white.
Did you have a Granada or a Zenith or a Quasar?
That was an
Zenith.
Mine was a Zenith, I think. No, we had both. We had those big console TVs too.
Yeah,
Remember those?
yeah, because they were so sexy and so
Yeah.
expensive that of course
Yeah.
they turned them into a piece of furniture. So you would walk
Right.
into a home and that would be featured. And so they had very ornate wooden cabinets encasing them and so on and so forth. But yeah, hysterical that the three brands are no longer. You don't hear about anybody owning a Zenith or a Granada or Grenada, however you want to say it,
Yeah.
or a Quasar.
Mm-mm. I
We had
don't
a
believe
black
they
and
exist
white
anymore.
Sanyo TV. Yeah, that was it. You're right, Mike. It was a big deal when you got it in your bedrooms. I used to watch Star Trek at midnight on Channel
Yeah.
11, WPIX New York, right in my room. That was a big deal when I could
Yeah.
do that. Yeah, and then you'd
That
move
was
the
pretty
antenna
cool.
around to try to get good reception.
That
That's
was
the other
pretty-
thing. Like reception is always perfect now. It's like you
Yeah.
have to fight. Like in our first house, my dad had put a nail through or a screw through the antenna, so he would reach up in the living room and a flathead screwdriver and would turn the antenna in the attic to change the reception depending on the
Yep.
channel. So
Yeah, I don't think very many people are aware of the fact that the bunny ears were so expensive. Like the bunny ear box was so
The
expensive.
rabbit ears were terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Big
had
time.
to babysit and save up money to get the little tiny black and white TV. And of
Yeah.
course, the first thing I did was snap off the top of the antenna because it has the little top on it. And I had a cheaper TV, so you couldn't unscrew it. And so I just snapped it off and then broke off the top of a hanger and shoved it inside of the top of the antenna.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then you just move it around the room and hope that you're able to get one channel at least.
Look who's here. Ash. Ash, great to
Hey!
see you, buddy. Good to see. All right, Phantom Outsider and Catman, aka Dee Dee Myers. Myers is here.
Catmandu.
This Phantom says lost sound. I don't know if that means like the TV reception or hopefully not our broadcast.
Oh
Maybe it
no!
means us. Are you guys hearing us?
Oh no! Maybe he lost sound, or did we lose sound? Ash is saying Raquel. Ah!
Usually, I have problems with sound when I broadcast, but this is on
Um,
Clobby'S channel. He's much more competent than me.
I don't
Love you,
know.
Ash.
Well, someone will let us know in the chat if they can hear us. Yep.
Yeah, we have a sound checker.
There is a delay. There's a delay between the StreamYards
delay,
and
yeah.
the YouTubes. Yeah, so
He had to
takes a while
restart
before the chat.
sound is back. Maybe
Oh,
it could have been his
good.
on his end then.
Good.
Oh,
good,
sounds
good.
back. Good.
Yes. Yeah, good to see you, Ash. I know it's pretty late over there, buddy. Enjoyed talking to you today.
How many monsters did you have in order to be able to stay up to join us this evening? Don't have too many, Ash. They're really bad for your
Thanks,
heart.
Chris. There's Chris Persia with the sound check for us, and everyone else said, yeah. That takes me back, Chris Persia, because of my Tex, Melford Tex, who used on BTR. I used to rely on him for all my sound checks, and he always said 5x5. So I miss Tex. Bastard.
Zathras hears all.
Zathras hears all. and thank you, Crazy Juniors. Good to see you there. Yeah, had a fun time today with the GGG, the Global Geek Gang. And you know what? Since we were talking about, since it's Halloween, and I was trying not to be a, that should have been turned down. Who's contacting me? Nobody better be contacting me. All right. Since today we were talking about Halloween, and I was trying not to be such a party pooper, I went ahead and made a Halloween poster for the GGG for this.
Nice.
Ah, I love it.
Let me. I want Ash to see who he is. I want Ash to see him, but yeah, I got it covered up. I thought
you got it covered with the tile. Yep.
I don't know why I thought I took that off of there.
Ash, look who you are, honey.
Ash. He won't. I don't know if he'll be familiar with the character anyway, but look who you are, Mark. So.
Yeah, Swamp Thing. Nice. Yep.
No, your man thing.
Oh, Man Thing.
Man
Man
Thing.
Thing. Oh, I'm mixing up my universes. Sorry.
Yeah, as long as you got the word thing in there, because
You gotta have that. Yep. Big Hulk. Yep.
Yeah. You mix. Well, yeah, I got a few little smattering of DC in there, but yeah, it is mostly the Marvel monstrosities there. But I put some DC in there. We got some DC representation, big time. In fact, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, 4. We got 5 DCers there. That's not bad.
I know, Raymond. I yelled that when I saw it backstage. I was like, Raymond's a werewolf.
He's a werewolf by night.
I was always impressed with how the comic book companies, even though the comic code, were able to have demonic characters or satanic characters like Etrigan and Son of Satan, Damien Hellstrom, and Ghost Rider. It's like, I guess you couldn't have any sex in comics, but they were able to get by with having the devil and demons. And
look, Son of Satan was a title that was rarely, it was distributed down here in the South, but it was rarely. And if I brought that comic on, I got in enough trouble with my Christian parents when they just burned all my comics at one point, because the church told them to. I didn't buy the title much, but I looked at it, flipped it. But you talk about big time trouble for most kids in the South. That's why the comic never really sold that well. Son of Satan, Damien Hellstrom. Yeah. I mean, they didn't like the whole idea that Satan's son was actually a good guy. Yeah, it was pretty pretty blasphemous for Marvel. So I doubt the book sold that well, especially in the Bible Belt, as it were.
Yeah, that always surprised me how that was allowed. I mean, I'm glad they were able to do it, but yes. I went to Catholic school, so if you showed up with like deities and demigods, and it was kind of frowned upon. What you reading about the Cthulhu mythos? Of course, fortunately, most of the nuns didn't know who Cthulhu was, but
like what? Yes, you're the son of Satan, Ash. Oh, and purple is your daughter, Satana. Yeah. So there you go. And then Lord Thoth is perfect for Dracula.
Yes.
A big shout out to everyone to our I don't know how he's feeling tonight, but our great buddy Eric K. Like I said earlier, I'm gonna put a big E in the chat. We love Eric, and I don't know if he's listening or not, but if you are, brother, we're shouting you out, man, and putting the E in there in the chat for you, bro. And I hope he's feeling better. And I should check on him. I probably will check on him in a minute, see how he's doing. But in the meantime, hey, we love you, buddy. If you do happen to be hearing this, man, we're thinking about you, bro.
Yeah.
So
I checked in with him about a half an hour ago on Twitter, and he hasn't answered back. So
I'll text him.
Yeah, text him.
But yes, Chris Persia, you are the Phantom Stranger. And I don't know, because you are very powerful and mysterious, and you work in mysterious ways, and you're always like magical with the links and all that stuff. You're a magical wrench, and so
there you go.
Whereas Eric K is the Spectre. He's the wrath of God. Oh man.
Ash says, "Purple is my daughter." Wow, who's my wife then?
I'm not at liberty to disclose such information. Oh dear. But anyway, show notes, everyone. Show notes. Not that it matters, but let's see here. Let's see. I've got. What do we got going on here? What do we got? Saturday night, something's going on.
Yeah.
Saturday night is all right for a fight. Yeah. So we have Star Trek: The Next Generation, 4 more episodes of season 3 reviewed. We indeed.
Yes.
And we miss you, Ash. I know you don't do The Next Generation or whatever. You're just busy that night. But never, you're always remembered. Because, like I said, you've left an indelible impression on Star Trek, Saturday Night Star Trek. Because every time we get, like, someone writes their comments in 20 chats or whatever, there's an Ash pick.
That's what we call it, and everyone is learning who you are through that, because we're like, oh, it's an Ash pick, and they're like, who's Ash? And then we have people coming back going, we found out who Ash is.
Oh yeah. Michael Beacom, welcome.
And now everyone's giving like really long reviews. Like, most people have two-parters now, so at least, or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Yeah. Thanks to Ash. In the beginning I was trying to I got like 200 characters. I'm deleting spaces and changing words to try to make it fit.
And
So
it
thank
makes
you, Ash,
people
for
make
liberating
mistakes.
us.
Doesn't it, Mark? It makes you make mistakes when you can only do it with 200, because then you're like,
Yeah.
okay, so what do I say here? And then I think it also leads to misunderstandings. Like people are like, what do you mean by that? Whereas if you at least stretch it out over 1 or 2 or 3, it makes it so much easier to convey like your true meaning and even the tone of your voice. So
Yeah.
it is unusual that we do it. I don't know. It's just something I've always done. I think the chat is super important. So I've just always wanted to hear what they think and hear what they feel and see what they say and read what they say. And it takes time. I mean, our community is pretty tight knit now, but it's like the captain always says, Clobby always says, if we ever explode, if we ever wind up being, more popular, it's going to be more difficult to maintain that format. But I love it.
That's
It'll
fantastic.
snort.
Yeah.
Phantom, I know. I'm well aware that I was just trying to mess with Ash. So it was his daughter. But okay, you let the cat out of the bag. I didn't want to tell him, but thanks a lot, dude. It's okay though. I'm messing with you, Phantom. I was going to tell him. I just want. Never mind. Snort.
Snort a poopus. Good bear. I'm sending you some chin scritchies.
Chin scritchies. Oh God. Oh my God. Don't worry about it, Phantom. It's cool. Let's see here. Oh, and then all right. Monday night. Monday night Mark C Comics talk.
Yeah.
Talking some Daredevil.
Yep.
I got a lot of heat about this last night because I was trying to say, see, everyone's doing Halloween stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was like, this is Halloween oriented. I don't realize that. I'm just kidding, Phantom Outsider. It's cool, man. Dude, you know me, man. One day I'm gonna get Phantom Outsider on here. I don't know if he likes to do if he likes to talk, if he likes to go on streams, but I am gonna invite you on one of these days, dude. A lot of people don't. Some people don't like to come on. Some people do. You know, you'd be great to talk comics with.
I'm sorry, I beg your pardon, Captain.
Yeah.
But Ash says, "Wait, Purple is my sister, not my daughter. Sweet home Alabama." Wait, that should have stayed in my head. Sorry, Captain. Please continue.
No,
I beg your pardon.
No. Oh man.
Well, Ash, you can watch the Hulu Hellstrom show. We probably don't want to watch it, but actually, brother and sister made it to TV in a very forgetable miniseries that lasted one season.
Even Gary, who's a big fan of Son of Satan, hated that stupid show. There's nothing to do with the comic, but they had to pay Marvel anyway.
Yeah.
Daredevil. All he gets is Miller all the time. It's Miller time. But the first 16 years of his existence, before Miller had, I mean, look, I love the Miller Daredevil before you get anyone goes in that, but he was a totally different character until Miller gave him all the dark and sinister, and ushered in the grim and the gritty with Daredevil's, with his run on Daredevil as writer and artist before he was just the artist on the book. But and I love the Miller run. I'm going to talk about that at some point, but no one ever gives the proper love to the pre-Miller Daredevil. So I'm going to do a little bit. I don't know if everyone, no one really even talks about it that much, but it'll be Monday night. So
it's safe to say that it's a sober review if it's a pre-Miller review.
Yes, it is safe to say that.
Sorry. I do know about Miller time.
But I'm bumped.
I'm Canadian, but I do know about Miller time.
Well, Bob and Doug always enjoyed those metric beers, right? Up in the Great White North. So
yeah.
I love
Canadian,
that skit. The Canadian, I love that metric beer skit when they're explaining metric beers. Check it out. Bob and Doug McKenzie.
I hate Halloween. If I want to scare myself, I'll look at a picture of my ex-mother-in-law. She makes me wake up screaming.
Ouch. Ouch.
Wow.
Well, she's not your mother-in-law anymore, so.
Yeah, that's X. So there you go. X, that's kind of, there you go. You got an X one. That's better than an actual one. Yeah.
Chris says, it's Molson up here, eh? None of the imported brew, eh?
That's exactly right, Phantom. He eliminated the DD's Rogues Gallery and stole a Spidey villain with King put in, might add. Al, Stiltman, Cobra. We're going to talk about all of them. Mr. Hyde, Copperhead, and Gladiator. And, well, he sort of used him, but not. He actually turned him into, he was reformed. All got dumped out of DD's life. Stiltman never got over it. Poor old Stiltman.
he got stilted.
We got stilted. Oh boy, he get jilted Stiltman. Yeah. Well, Melvin Potter was there, but he was after his Gladiator career. Yeah. So now on the Daredevil show, which I just binged again, which is a wonderful show. It's a great show, especially the first 2 seasons. But it's, man, that stuff is violent. But again, it was 2015, and it was great, but it was still all Miller. In fact, they don't put Miller's name anywhere on it because they don't have to. But they ripped him off so much. It's like, good God, people. How about just acknowledging him? He didn't get a dime, of course. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, he should have been acknowledged.
But in Melvin Potter's garage where he's making all that stuff, they had the Stiltman stilts a couple times. You could see him.
Do you guys see this comment coming up from Phantom Outsider Clobby? He's speaking directly to you. He says, he's jilted the stilted man.
Yeah. Yes, jilted the stilted man. But I like the stilted man. Okay, it was, I mean, I guess he was goofy. I don't know. I mean, it was a comic book. That's the whole point. The Miller run. I mean, think about it. You got a blind man who can jump off of buildings and fight people, all that kind of stuff. It is, he's just Daredevil's one of the greatest. He's in my top 10 all-time favorite characters, or top 12 at least. And I love him. And he doesn't get enough love. He doesn't get treated very well. And look, what Miller did, the Miller run is you cannot deny how good it is, especially when he went back for Born Again. Born Again's one of the greatest comics ever written. And even drawn, because Miller didn't draw
great
it.
Stuff, yeah.
But it was only 7 issues. And they ripped the hell out of it for season 3, but then they didn't use all the best parts.
Mm-hmm.
And he stole Kingpin from Spider-Man and he became a Daredevil villain. Let's see, Michael Beacom says.
Yeah, I was looking at that as well, Clobby.
I thought out of comics in the late 70s, you're better off. But back in the day, I liked Daredevil for the same reason I like Batman. He can be killed with a gun.
Mm.
I mean, he is mortal, yes. His radar senses, make it where a blind man can, sense things better than a sighted person that can fight, but he used to run around with all the other Marvel superheroes and in those pre-Miller days. Then Miller, I don't know, took him down that dark path because Miller, it's amazing. Frank Miller was told by Neil Adams that he had no talent and he should not even try to draw comics.
Whoa.
And when Neil Adams tells you that, but he stayed with it and he changed. Look, he changed comics. He and Alan Moore did change comics, not for the better. And you can go, but I thought you loved their stuff. I do, but it doesn't mean they didn't change comics for the poorer. And our dear departed Mark C and I talked about that a lot, and we had a show planned for that where we're going to talk about the negative effect of Miller and Moore on the art form and what it did to the industry and the damage. Now, Moore understood it, as crazy and insane as he is and was. He actually understood it. Miller didn't care, but Miller, and I like Miller. I mean, he's a nice guy too, but he didn't change. Whereas Moore got sick of that stuff, and yet both of them Moore wrote more masterpieces than Miller. Miller, Born Again was great. Everything else, that he did, some of it was good, but Miller, Moore wrote a bunch of masterpieces, and now he looks back and says he wish he hadn't done some of it because he's a loon, great writer, insane writer.
They were too successful and too popular. I mean, I remember, going to my college dorm in freshman year, and I'm seeing Dark Knight Returns. I'm like, people reading comic books. I was like, only nerds and geeks read comic books. What the heck is, people?
What the heck is going on here?
What's going on here? They're passing around these, and then I'm like, can I borrow that? To read that? I'm like, what's going on? It was comics were tough to get back then. I'm like, oh my, and it was like, a game changer when you read that. It was just so incredible. My favorite scene is when Bruce is going back to Crime Alley and he's drawn, as a huge, bulked up guy. and
Yeah,
he's
too
just
well done.
reminiscing. He's bringing the roses to the spot where his parents got killed, and the thugs or hoodlums are looking at him, and they're like, "Man, look at I'm paraphrasing, but look at that crazy look in his eyes. Like, I don't even want to mess with. They're gonna mug him, and they're like, let's stay away from this guy. He's he's crazy." And that just encapsulated, that whole, Batman's the kind of guy that, you're not even going to mess him. And then Bruce Wayne also, that's why, as much as I love Michael Keaton's, performance, he's just too small to play Batman. And,
Yes.
he made it work. But, the way Miller drew Batman and that whole storyline and the whole scene, it's like one of my all-time favorite scenes in a comic, just, because Batman's got to be batshit crazy to be able to do what he does, right? And to scare criminals,
Right.
he's not going to be he's not a comedian,
Yeah.
So I just love that scene. But then it became too, that dark and grim and Elseworlds, viewpoint of the heroes almost became mainstream, which is you're missing out on all the fun and the lighthearted, and not that you can't have serious storylines, like when,
yeah,
but then it just kind of pervaded everything, and it's out of comic books too. It's pervaded a lot of shows as well. Excuse me, as well. So
everything what Miller, and Moore did infiltrated in everything, and it just there was so much of a negative effect, but it was Miller and Moore. I mean, that you can trade Moore and Miller. You want to put it any way you want to. It was with Watchmen and with Dark Knight Returns. And Steve Mitchum, thanks, buddy. Thanks for joining us. Great to see you, buddy.
Can I interject too? I beg your pardon, just for two wags of a dog's tail, tiny dogs, Chihuahua dogs' tails. Matthew Pounder just walks through the door as well. And I do have to say, Conan in Vegas with the most beautiful daughter ever, Maddie. Steve Mitchum, welcome.
What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man.
Hail, Steve.
Yep, good to see you, man. Miller turns everyone into a ninja. He tells Matthew Pounder, he turned Daredevil into a ninja, as a matter of fact. I mean, he was trained by one anyway, but no, look, actually, I'm highly critical of a lot, especially a lot of the writing in Dark Knight, in Batman Dark Knight Returns, and I hate issue 4, and I hate the portrayal of Superman all through it. I hate it. The writing is very caricature in this one. He's done way better writing. This one some of it is really over the top bad when you sit down and analyze it. And the art, to be honest with you, I don't like the way Miller changed his style. I mean, everyone, it's just too exaggerated to a point that I don't know. I don't like the art in it very much. And when I bought it, we were all excited about it. Oh my God, you could even get the first issue. First issue was prestige format. We thought that was expensive at the time. Like it was $4. Back then it was unheard of. And there were people jacking it to $25. The day it came out, I had to go to a different shop to get it for cover price, and made one of the best friends of my life because of it. Because the idiot, the shop I went to, jacked the price up right when it came out. But it changed comics. And the thing is, people say, but don't you like it? And I love Watchmen. Watchmen's a masterpiece. It changed comics. But it did. But just because something is good doesn't mean it has good effect on everything. Something really good could create bad, and something even bad is, unfortunately, in life, creates good things sometimes. It's funny how that works. Good comes from bad, bad comes from good. It does happen sometimes.
Yeah.
And
that's a good comment. Yep. There's another nice comment up here. Michael Beacom is saying Michael Keaton never gets adequate credit for making people forget he's 5'5". He's a wonderful Irish actor. I find him very compelling as a Batman, simply because I find him in real life. I find him clever, and I think that's conveyed in his characters. And I always wanted Batman to be very clever. I don't want him to be a meathead. And when I saw Val Kilmer as Batman, I sort of felt like we were dealing with a meathead. Whereas Michael Keaton, through the magic of film, we could imagine him being this, this formidable, scary, big, hulking guy, big, strong Batman. And I think it's because he's a cerebral Batman. And I'm a nerd. I don't come here as a geek, so I make no claims to any type of expertise. But I did enjoy Michael Keaton as Batman because I do enjoy the cerebral Batman as opposed to the meathead Batman. So,
Well,
lots of people in the chat saying they like Michael Keaton, and I can see why you all feel that way, because I sort of feel that way myself.
his performance, I have no problem. I think he's because he's a great actor. His performance is fine, but Batman is also a physical, visual character. And I look at that guy,
Yes.
and I don't think of a guy like Bruce Wayne who spent his whole life at this point when he's first starting, he's supposed to be pretty young, a big, tall, super athletic kind of fit guy. I don't see that with Michael Keaton, and that's why the costume had to do most of the work in that area. I like the movie and everything, and his performance is excellent. And one thing that works is he had to go toe to toe with another great actor, Jack Nicholson. So it kind of works for that. But still, when I look at that guy, I don't think, that's Bruce Wayne. It just doesn't really work for me.
I hear that opinion, and I respect that opinion too. Chris is just put in a correction before we go any further. Chris Persia, thank you so much. Love you very much. He says Keaton is actually 5'8".
Okay.
Yep.
No,
because go ahead. Yep.
No, go ahead.
No, as I say, I love Keaton's portrayal, and I love the scene when I always love superheroes undercover, in their secret identity, having to act as heroes. It's one of my favorite tropes. So when he's with Jack Nicholson and he grabs that silver tray and he's acting kind of crazy. So I love the portrayal. It's just I was working out a lot back then. I'm like, I could throw that Batman around and beat the crap out of him. That's but to Michael Keaton's credit that everyone loves how he acted in that role and made it believable. But it's just, I want both. I mean, I think the new Batman movies have moved away from Batman the detective and being one of the smartest guys in the DC universe. So you want both. And I think back then too, people didn't work out as much. It was just Schwarzenegger maybe and Stallone is big, but
more natural bodies.
Yeah, but Batman, you'd want to have someone just physically. He doesn't have to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, because he wouldn't be able to move, but just like an athlete, kind of like decathlete, like an Olympic, kind of like Captain America is drawn sometimes, maybe not so much anymore. But it's a nitpick. I mean, it's a great movie, great portrayal. Yeah.
I think that there are good points on both sides, and maybe it's because I'm older myself that I'm Gen X, that I sort of feel that way. Like when I don't know a lot about the comics. What I know is this Batman is this billionaire. He does all this charity work. He's extremely intelligent. He runs a big corporation, if I'm remembering
That's
correctly.
Right.
And so I don't mind that type of angle where he's more cerebral and having a smart ass, somebody with he has such a beautiful face, Michael Keaton, and like Clobby was saying, he's such a good actor. It's just such a shame, because I'm not a big fan of like the sort of Jason Momoa type of actors and stuff like that. I'm really not into it. I don't find them compelling as superheroes because they're meatheads. And it's okay that if a superhero is a meathead, they all can't be geniuses. But when I look at Robert Downey Jr. and I look at Tony Stark and I'm seeing this billionaire, as I said, I come humbly with this argument because I'm not a geek, I'm a nerd. But I like the fact that the suit is what has to make him. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%.
Well, for Tony Stark, but
I was just gonna say the Batman suit in the movies too has become too much like Iron Man. That's one of the complaints about Spider-Man. It's Iron
and
Spider.
Spider-Man,
So like Batman's got to rely on his brains, his wit, and maybe a few gadgets. But I think with the popularity of the video game, it's almost like he's an iron suit, which is kind of cool, But Bruce Wayne is a billionaire. He's gonna have that high tech stuff, and maybe he'd have like night vision or things like that. But they almost made him like a mechanized warrior in some of these portrayals.
I like Adam West. I mean, and
I love Adam West.
That Robin was just a teeny tiny Robin. It wasn't that Adam
Ward.
West was this giant man. He looked like he looked like a handsome dad.
Yeah.
In our
Yeah.
generation, you know, we were
Yeah.
all a lot slimmer back then. People got a lot more exercise. We didn't have an
Yeah.
obesity epidemic. And so when I look at Adam West, I'm like, well, that's Batman. And he had a sort of a James Bond quality to him almost, where he was strikingly handsome. So I loved watching him on screen. I loved Adam West as Batman. And if that makes anyone want to throw fruit at me, I apologize.
I love Adam West, so
Yeah.
no fruit will be thrown here. Let me get to Ash's because I don't know what's going on in the chat. I had to stop it so I can. Ash is here. What do you guys think of the theory? First of all, I want to know whose theory this is. Batman is all actually just Bruce Wayne in Arkham Asylum, and all the villains are just the doctors, nurses, and workers. I want to punch whoever came up with the theory. That's what I think, Ash, personally.
That's terrible.
But you know, I know what you're talking. I just don't know who started it, Ash. But yeah, I mean, look, I know I've seen it out there before. I've seen people say that. I don't even know if it's from I don't know.
That's terrible.
Where it's from, I can't remember. Jobber, what's up, buddy? Let me say some hellos. Cleanser, hello there. Good to see you. Let me address something. I'm way behind. That's just. He'll probably tell us where he got it, but I'm way behind in the chat. So I want to say address some of these here. Matthew Pounder. Watchmen and Dark Knight were modern day imaginary stories. Well, Weisinger was doing that in the 60s. Well, they were in the case of Dark Knight, it wasn't Elseworlds before they used the term Elseworlds. And Watchmen was just was its own separate universe and always will be. Nothing else counts as Watchmen but that 112-issue maxi series. After I saw The Shadow, I thought Alec Baldwin would have made a decent Bruce Wayne. He kind of looks more like him, more square-jawed. I guess I can give you that. I hated The Shadow movie, though. My buddy Michael French has been teasing me like, dude, we're going to watch that and talk about it one day. I said, torture. I love Keaton the same reason as Raquel, but I also love Ben Affleck because he's playing an older version of character that dark and gritty. You can tell he's been through some shit. Yes, it's called the scripts that Zack Snyder puts him.
I hate Ben Affleck as Batman. I think he's terrible. He's a meathead. Have you seen his back tattoo? It's like a tramp stamp for morons. What the heck happened to him? And now he's back with Jennifer. So we've got Bennifer again.
Oh, they're back?
Oh, it's so bad. And they redid their yacht with his hand on her buttocks. That they did that photo shoot for the paparazzi.
So his hand was astern of her?
Oh, it was, there's try hard and then there's, try hard. No kidding.
Yeah.
God, David Affleck. I like that. I
got kicked in the shins from Canada right now.
Yes. David Rayboard is applauding Clobby'S comment, calling Affleck ass lick.
As always, it's just a habit. Captain Deckard Spock, what's up, buddy?
Oh, Captain. And if
Captain,
anyone doesn't,
Just Joe's here, Jobber. I already said that. Good.
Okay.
David Rayburn. My cousin, David Rayburn. Cuz, what's up? That's family. There we go. Good to see you, man. Ironcaster and Kal-El are here.
Hey!
All right. And by the way, Ash, I was just messing with you, dude. But Ash knows I pick on him all the time.
I'm Batman. Sorry, I can't do it. But if anyone doesn't think I like Michael Keaton, I've got a Michael Keaton standee, of course, in my office. So
why couldn't he be 6'2"? Why?
Why?
Now
he is. See, now he is. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Ash. I don't like Affleck, and I joke about him. With a good script, I don't know. I'm not saying he couldn't play him well. I mean, he probably could. Because he does have at least the look. But they tried to make him an older Batman, which was kind of going for a similar look. Kind of a similar feel to the Miller Dark Knight Returns Batman, and of course everything was wrong with those movies. So, even though I make fun of Affleck, it wasn't even his fault. It's all Snyder's fault.
Yeah, it's the writers. Yep. And Phantom says, I'll try to say I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I don't know if that's any good, but I tried.
How much of Esh liking Ben Affleck is Esh ogling or ogling? Apparently both pronunciations are correct. I checked the dictionary. That might be the oogle ogle are you? Esh is oogle-ogling. And Clubby, I
know.
have a question. Somebody in the chat, the chat's jumping all over the place. My StreamYard is acting really weird. But one wonderful person, please tell me who you are, said that Adam West's belt, his utility belt, was actually like a girdle or like a waist cincher. Is that true, Clubby?
It is.
What?
Or he definitely. They did put something like that on him. Don't go there, Raquel. Hey, Ash.
I'm right.
Right, Ash. Write your hate mail to RM Briggs.
No, it's not that. It's that he knows that I know his taste.
I
So
know.
yeah, so I knew. Oh, see, now he's covering his eyes with emojis. Pretty funny. Yeah,
Oh.
Ash, crushes don't count, honey. You like meatheads that look good.
No, I think Affleck could be good as Batman if he had the right script.
Yeah, I mean, look,
he's good in the scene. So,
I mean, Henry Clavicle Face would be a good Superman if they ever let him play him, because guy has and look, and Cavill, he should be James Bond. Guy's perfect for it, but they won't cast him as that either. But in an actual Superman movie, he'd probably be very good. They just don't make him in it. They're never going to make one. So, yeah, where'd you get that stand up?
My mom actually got it for me for my birthday. So she found it in the, when they sold, this is a VHS tape display, I guess. So back in the day. So she asked the guy, my son's a big fan of Batman. Can I have this? So it's pretty cool. Yeah. So,
but Ash is not the only one.
He's only half a Batman, though, unfortunately.
Oh, only half. Ash is not the only one. A lot of people really like Affleck. Even people who don't like the movie think that Affleck was to have it.
No,
It was good. So,
but I agree with David Rayburn. I agree with you. I think he's what's his name there, Henry Cavill. I think he's wonderful as the Witcher. Isn't he just marvelous? But I don't know, David, don't you feel like it seems like there are 3 Hollywood hunks and they're just rotating them through all of these superheroes? Wouldn't it be nice if we could find like some new blood, some fresh meat, as it were, and do something wonderful? And, there are plenty of Rock Hudson type people out there who are great actors and also look wonderful. I don't quite understand why it has to be David Momoa or Jason Momoa or whatever the guy's name is in every movie. David Rayburn, he's in every movie. Why is Momoa in every movie? And then women are like, they don't admit that they're oogling and ogling, oogle, drool, and ogle.
Phantom Outsider likes to go after every joke I make. I love Adam West, but I was making the joke about his belt. Man, you're the joke police today, dude. I love you, Phantom. I'm just messing with you.
Now everyone's calling him Ben Affleck because of you, Clobby.
Oh.
Everyone in the chat is calling him Ben Affleck instead of Affleck.
Calling that forever.
That's great.
Ash, you're a bad boy, Ash. But no, I tried to watch like the first episode of The Witcher. I couldn't get into it, but a lot of people who liked the first season say that in the second one he's barely there because he's taking a back seat to all the
other characters, yeah,
the ladies. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I've never. Well, you say you.
I thought it was a fun series. It was good.
I watched it.
Gotcha. Brett Cohen with the $5. Oh, thank you, Brett. You're too kind. Thank you, sir. And it's good to see you. 2 shows, 1 day. Marks your what?
I'm not sure what that means.
Your spurker, Clobby. Fresh meat is illegal in most countries, Raquel, but I get what you mean.
Steak tartare.
Thank you for that. I'm not sure what a.
I'm not sure. Maybe it's got to be autocorrect fail or something.
Oh, could be.
Brett will put
that
it
is
in.
a word I'm unfamiliar with, so I can't help.
Unless
you.
it's
I'm not. Yes,
unless it's another language. Yeah. He'll tell us what it is. Yeah. Yeah, but like Hugh Jackman was a total unknown when he played Wolverine. So yeah, it's great to have give new actors a chance in some of these roles. So I think I've heard that Scott Eastwood might be.
Phantom, I just busted your chops, babe. You know that.
Phantom, I'm totally not busting your chops. I'm like totally naive about all of this stuff, and I totally think that it's that you guys are not joshing me. And the reason being is, of course, I'm a nerd. I come from the Star Trek universe, and so there was plenty of girdles and waist cinchers and all sorts of things happening on Star Trek. So I love even pointing out the episodes in which the Shat had to wear his waist trainer. He wore a full girdle, and you could see it. So I was not being facetious. I was being 100% open and honest. I thought maybe Adam West had a bit of a dad bod and needed a little bit of boning to help.
Well, I should have been clear then. The belt wasn't necessarily a girdle, but he did actually wear some kind of like a. I've heard.
Didn't he say
anyway.
wore panty? I heard he wore
Right.
pantyhose.
Now again, I wasn't there. I'm just telling you things I've heard that yes, that he would tighten the belt up, but he did have like a girdle thingy. Again, it might not be true.
But hey, I guess if most of us try to get in a costume like that, we won't look half as good, right? So God bless them. I mean, there's not much to hide, when you're wearing tights. So they didn't have those, the spandex outfits like they have today, where they're all, armored up and multiple layers and that kind of thing. So,
Pat S says a corset. No, Pat. They have. We have a vast array of undergarments that will prevent your stomach from sticking out, or if you get a bit of extra pounds in the tuchus. So he wore a myriad of various undergarments. That's a double negative there. Yeah, he wore lots of different types of undergarments, and of course those compression tights work. Many men wear them. They also wear the girdle, which is of course the panel that is in the underwear. So it would all depend upon what they wanted to wear. A corset, you would be able to actually physically see a corset because of course it's made out of bones, and it has boning in it. So that you can't really wear a corset if something is super tight, like a superhero outfit. It's got to be a girdle, it's got to be a waist trainer, or it's got to be the compression tights or hosiery.
Gotcha.
Well, I learned a new word today.
What?
Okay, yeah.
Raquel probably should handle that one. She's the grammar police. The spruiker.
The spruiker. Did not know that.
Did you see that definition, Raquel, or in the chat?
No, I didn't.
Yep. So I guess
yes.
Australian English, someone who tries to persuade people to buy something, use a service, etc., often in a dishonest or exaggerated way. Well, I'm always honest, but I'd love to exaggerate, so I'll go with that. Yep.
Yeah, Esh Singh, I love
enable.
objectifying men, and I'm open and honest about it, and it is my pleasure to be the gateway to truth and 100% honesty. Women objectify men, and men are objectified all the time, just like women, because in the realm of the superhero, it is the grand equalizer. Women do not want to have a chubby Thor any more than men want to see a fat Catwoman. So, fat Catwoman, no laughs on that one, guys.
That's body positive.
Anyway, Ash, it's my pleasure to be your gateway to objectifying men. I do it all the time. I wear it like a badge of honor.
Women love Zathras. Enough said.
I get that joke now because I watch B5. I love you, Zathras.
Glenzer, men get all the topless scenes in superhero movies. Where's the equality? Yeah. Well,
exactly.
You got to go back to the 80s for. You got to go back to the 80s for that. Well, my favorite was Clash of the Titans. I mentioned before. It was a birthday party. We'd go to birthday party. Take us. You go to see a movie, and when the priestess comes out topless in the PG movie, my mom's like her hands are trying to cover everyone. So yeah, you did have a lot more topless. There was a lot more equality back in the 80s, I think, 70s and 80s. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
but isn't it also like a cultural thing? Like I hate to say this and make generalizations, but I've read it in quite a few places and in a couple of scholarly places that Americans are pretty uptight about nudity, but they're not uptight
Yeah,
about violence. And everywhere
exactly.
else in the world, we're super uptight about violence and we're not uptight about nudity at all. So it's sort of I think a reflection of who's involved with making the film.
I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, because you could have, I mean, today on TV, if you watch, House or any of those medical shows, or, I mean, they'll have, back in the day when you had Quincy, you wouldn't really see much of the autopsy, but now they'll just show totally the bones, totally dismembered corpse on TV. It's like, God forbid you show, someone semi-naked, or a love scene in a movie, boom, boom, here come the censors. But you're right. I think it's just part of the American culture. That's the zeitgeist, or
Yeah,
Americans. We love our violence and that kind of stuff. So it's interesting
yeah.
that
Whereas
you,
everywhere else in the world, you go to a nude beach. I've been on a nude beach in every corner of the world, and there's nothing, sexual or erotic about it.
yeah,
There are children, there are elderly, especially the elderly. There's probably nothing more beautiful in this world than seeing a 90-year-old man and his wife laying on the beach, just sunning their bodies or going into the ocean to bathe. There's absolutely nothing sexual about it. It's incredibly natural and not erotic in any way. And so there is a cultural divide there, and it's a shame because I'm not offended by nudity at all, but I abhor violence. I don't like violence, and I am completely put off by gore. I just don't like it. I have to cover my eyes when I watch Total Recall, which is, of course, some pretty violent science fiction. A lot
yeah,
of people don't consider it science fiction, but of
Oh
course
yeah,
it
of
is
course it
science
is.
fiction.
Well,
And
yeah.
but quite violent, and the hands have to go up. I put the hands up because it's just it's very squishy.
yeah. But yeah, it's because my dad's side is European, so you go travel there, and there's there were billboards of topless women selling Coca-Cola. I tried to bring
Yeah.
that poster home. It didn't happen. But yeah, it's and there's nudity on TV, and it's just not. There's just no big deal. And you go to the beaches, and the women are topless, but
Yeah.
that's just the way it's just the way it is. It's not, like you said, it's not a sexual thing. It's just
No.
it's time to sunbathe. That's just the way the way things are. So it's
Yeah, and I think it's a very natural thing that sort of centers people on reality and makes them so they're not so extreme in their views. If you do see a buxom blonde walking down the beach, it's in the context of everyone else being nude at the same time, and then
yeah.
to have your nana laying beside you, or your yaya laying beside you, that's grandma in Greek, and and she has two trouts instead of you know it just offers people context so that the body doesn't become so precious that it cannot be viewed. Of course, I believe that we should all be a little bit more free in that regard.
Yeah, we were driving through Monaco, and I was probably 13 or 14, and there's this. It's still a picture. This gorgeous woman in a bikini, this big huge hat, walking a poodle, topless, and my mom's
Yeah.
looking. I'm picking at my mom type, but she's looking. Mark, Lucian, eyes on the road. It's like you're watching gawking as everyone goes by. But yeah, but it's just the way. It's just no one else was. Stupid Americans. But it's just. It's just part of the part of the way things were. But
It goes
it was
away
just.
though, Mark.
Oh, it
You
does
have
go
to
away. Yeah,
reassure people. It
yeah, it
goes
does go
away.
away.
Like, people don't
Yeah,
they don't stay fixated on the erotic nature of it. They don't.
yeah, yeah,
And it's like you're bathing, and you're
yeah. And
sunbathing
that
and
hat
bathing
was
in the
really beautiful that she was wearing too. So yeah,
Oh, it's so funny. So funny.
so good time, good times. Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, I just I'd love to see Americans be with a little, not that I am some divine judge where I get to tell people what to think and feel and say, but I would love to see the reverse for the United States. I would
Yeah.
like to see a little bit people not being so hung up on nudity or making the body so precious that the body cannot be viewed. You know, when we enter this world, it's our natural state, the naked human form, and the body is not exclusively sexual in nature. When you look at the statue of David, you're not thinking to yourself, oh wow, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
let's get it on. You know, it's not the orgy room where the statue of David is. You walk in that room and you realize, wow, he's simply magnificent. And I think that's another thing about it is, you know, that when the bodies of women become too precious where they can't be touched or even viewed, there's something lost in looking at the beauty of men's bodies, because men have long been sort of judged as having these ugly bodies, you know, and that their bodies are not appealing to look at. And of course, I think men are just absolutely glorious. They're just absolutely beautiful creatures. So yeah, I just there is an admiration, an aesthetic admiration of the natural state of the human body beyond sex, and you see it a lot in art, and certainly maybe that's where my opinions originate, is being able to appreciate the human form through art.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So, yeah, you look at classic works of art, you know, the figures are nude, but it's not a sexual, you know, portrayal. It's just, you know, looking at the body and, you know, no, you know, what a genius Michelangelo was. I mean, just the,
Yeah.
you know, has he been equaled in that many
No.
years? I mean, probably not. So it's just, you know, one of a once in a lifetime, or not lifetime, once in a planetary. How would you quantify it? You know, a genius. I mean, it's just so
Yeah.
incredible to be able to, you know, make statues like that. So it's and I think when you'd mentioned that before too, where, you know, men being objectified, it's in comics today, they're, you know, complaining about how you can't have, you know, have more realistic women, you know, I guess, but also the men were never drawn realistic either. I mean, look at Mr. Fantastic.
No.
He's, you know, the buffest scientist in the world. You could maybe say he's using his powers to look buff, but I mean, you know, Captain America, you know, name a character other than the Blob and, you know, maybe Wilson Fisk, some of the villain, you know, a few of the villains, and, you know, but they're all, you know, drawn like they've been working out, you know, 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear you, you know, bring that up. And when I
Well,
heard you
the
say that the first
criticism.
time, I was like cheering. Yeah.
Well, because I think that the criticism in social media and within the layperson community, people who don't study social science and so on and so forth, I find it to be very jejune, uh, uh, very immature way of looking at it. Because of course, I know very many men who are addicted to the gym. Men who use steroids, men who have eating disorders. Many of these folks are completely unaware because they've never taken, university level social studies or anthro, or maybe perhaps even film studies, that men are wearing all the same undergarments and are under the same pressures to maintain a certain body weight that women are. And certainly we see this in this superhero generation that we currently live in, where, you know, 96 to 98% of the films that are released are of these superheroes. So I think it's very immature and naive and sort of silly to only put the focus on women and say, look, women are being objectified in these films. This is terrible. We need to change this. And at the same time, there are women who are going to these films with their boyfriends and husbands or significant other, whatever that may be, and they are drooling over these men's bodies,
Yeah.
and these men go through hell. If you see their workouts, there are so many interviews, books, YouTube videos with these guys being interviewed, and these men have been put themselves through hell. Have you seen the way Dwayne the Rock Johnson eats? That poor guy. He makes himself sick sometimes, and he's healthy. But he has to really work at what he is, and work at what he does. So it's okay that women do too. You are, after all, playing a superhero, right? You're supposed to be superhuman. Yeah.
Yeah, Cal's got a great point, and LT said, "Yeah, look at He-Man. You know how that. Have you seen his action figure?
LT?
Right? So it's yeah, so it's just the way that and it's men go through the same thing too, especially now, and they're talking about Instagram and harming mainly women and young girls. They've been saying, but it's also got to affect men as well. So that whole scandal that's been in the news the last few days with the Facebook whistleblower and all that that's been going on. But and they said they create the platform, so it's even. I think the whole thing is problematic, but they make it even worse. So it's the shame that you have this social media where everyone's judging everyone else, and it's visual too. So it's got to be tough too when you're much younger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the bottom line is that what they've done is they've created a sort of a misery culture where the focus is on all of the negative things, and the focus is only there, and there's no perspectival shift. There's only a first floor view of it instead of a 14th floor view of it. And we are talking about superhero movies, and we are talking about people who are supposed to be otherworldly aliens, who can lift cars and throw buses and circle the earth 50 times to turn the day back 15 days. I mean, they're generally not going to look like a jar of pickles. They're going to be cut. They're going to be, glorious, almost godlike creatures. And so I just think there's a great deal of dishonesty in the discussion when an actress says, I pretend for a living. I don't want to fit into this size 4 dress. I think that this is about my oppression. Okay, and what do the men get to say then thereafter? And it's not like I'm totally against women. What I'm saying is that women have made very many strides in North America and in Western culture, and I think it's very important to keep the conversation as forward focused and as present as possible, so that we can remain sincere, we can remain honest in our reflections of what we're doing, and to criticize the female body and the way the female is represented in a superhero movie, I think is preposterous. The same as, you're ignoring what's happening with men.
Yeah, like Snort. That's a classic. Funny. My body is like a temple, ancient and in ruins. God bless you, Snort. I guess the bears. It's tough to swim to get those seals now, right? It's getting much tougher to chase them. But
yes, he has to swim further.
Me too, Snort.
yeah. I feel your pain. Yeah, but it's true. I mean, like Scarlett Johansson was complaining that people are objectifying her. It's like, you're one of the most gorgeous women on the planet. I mean, you've got talent, obviously, in your acting skills combined with your looks. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. I mean, if Scarlett Johansson wasn't that pretty, how successful would she have been? I mean, maybe she would have gotten some different roles, but she would never have been a leading lady, not without being as gorgeous as she is. I mean, so
well, and she's a good exemplar because men also intensely respect her. You don't see men speaking disparagingly about her. She's certainly not like an airhead, like some other actresses out there. I don't want to speak unkindly of folks, but men also deeply respect her. That's a woman that men genuinely lust after in every capacity. They think she's smart. They think she's funny. They think she's cool. She's beautiful. So great example. For me, I think what emerged, was it this week or last week, this thing with Catwoman. I was
Same thing,
completely
yeah.
blown away. Isn't Catwoman was a lady of the evening and was a dominatrix, I believe.
Oh, and only Frank Miller turned her into that later. No, not initially. She was a spoiled, bored, rich woman. I mean, they
Rich
did a
girl,
couple.
yeah.
Yeah, they messed around with her a lot. Miller turned her into that in the '80s. So yeah, it's happened.
Yeah,
but that's part of the charm of the characters, or sexual
It
appeal.
is.
I mean, and that's why ScarJo saying that, and now Catwoman. I mean, it's one thing to say, hey, let's have an intelligent, well-written character that we can respect and is just not a a bimbo. But Catwoman was always able to fight off Batman or get away with eventually Batman would catch her, but she wasn't just a floozy. I don't know what the right word is, but she had skills. She could fight. She was a great thief in the beginning, and she's also sexy and looks gorgeous. So you can have both, right?
Well, but even if she wasn't a lady of the evening, and even if she wasn't a dominatrix, let's be quite honest about the semiology of what's happening here. Let's look at the actual social science of what's going on here, the signs, symbols, and artifacts that are being communicated. And anytime you see a woman in a cat suit, I mean, it's called a cat suit, there is going to be some type of sexiness going down there. And so I just think that it's preposterous for Lenny Kravitz's daughter Zoe Kravitz to say, look, I think it's wrong to sexualize the Catwoman character, and I would like to see the Catwoman not be sexualized
After she took a paycheck.
After she took a paycheck. And the thing is you think of Michelle Pfeiffer. There she is in her glorious rubber black suit, and she is sexy. And let's look at the fact that she's a pussy cat. She's a cat, and she's in a rubber suit, and she's dominating, and she's a little bit wild. In one portrayal, she lost her mind because when she get hit by a car or something like that.
No, she got knocked out of a building, and
yes.
And Tim Burton's a nut, but
Yeah. And so, you're dealing with a loose cannon here, a woman who's lost her mind to the point where she's going to get dressed up in this suit. I mean, this is a fantasy world.
With the whip.
This is a fantasy world that may be erotic, and it's okay that it's erotic. When I get dressed up as Catwoman, I've thought about doing the Catwoman many times. I have always wanted to do the classic Michelle Pfeiffer. She looks great. And who doesn't want to have who doesn't want to do that? They don't have to imbibe that. They don't have to be a part of that. But for those of us who do it and we enjoy it, maybe it's time for us to just throw back the words, "This isn't for you."
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, she certainly isn't going to. Probably, I'm going to go way out on a limb here. I don't think she's going to be giving that paycheck back. Just a hunch. Just a hunch. So,
what's her costume like in the movie? Does anyone?
It looks crappy. The little shots I could see. I mean, but still, I guess I suppose it's
potato
tight,
suit
or
something, or do they have in her?
It doesn't look that good, really. But then I mean, Catwoman's had many outfits, but
they've all been pretty. As Raquel said, cats, they haven't been, they've been, she's covered up a lot, but they're, sexy there's sexy outfits, and it's no, you look at William Marston with his, Wonder Woman, we all know his background, and, the allegory, or what's the right word, in the portrayal of her character with her lasso, and, there was that whole dominatrix, undercurrent that you didn't know about until you, read about his biography, So, and then there's a movie that was out a few years ago, talking about that.
They made a movie that the Marston heirs said was BS, but of course they would say that, wouldn't they?
How many dog women are there in Marvel and DC?
We have Squirrel Girl. That's about it. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's about it, right?
But you guys see what I'm saying? Tell it, please, if you can find a soccer mom in this world today who did not go to the lingerie store to pick up the little tail and the little rabbit ears and claim that that was her Halloween costume. I think you'd be hard pressed to find a soccer mom who hasn't done that. So I think there's just a little bit of dishonesty here. And I think that people are behaving in too extreme of a way, and they've turned the discourse into something that is just one extreme or the other, and I don't think that there's need of one extreme or the other. I think it's time to just be honest and have a sincere conversation about it.
Yeah, you're right, Rick. Like we have wolves. I'm trying to search, but Wolfsbane, of New Mutants. Who else would be another character that changes form? Or maybe you've got Tiger, but of course, yeah, I'm thinking of
Tiger's a kind of a cat.
Tiger's a cat. Right? I'm just thinking of where's Phantom.
Yeah,
Phantom
no,
will
How
roll
many
up
soccer
a list.
moms do you think want to be dog woman?
Really cats.
Yeah.
Just- How many soccer moms do you think? How many grade school teachers do you think are going to show up on Halloween day and teach their class and they're dressed as dog woman?
Or
And
underdog.
they're wearing a burlap
Guess
sack
what?
with a
I'm
big old
underdog.
circle
I'm
around one eye, go as a pit bull. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
There is an erotic nature to Catwoman. She's a pussy cat, and she is wearing a cat suit, which is closely aligned in our society, in our ideology, in our world today as human beings, with a brand of eroticism, and that's okay. It's all right for the female form to be erotic, and it doesn't have to disappear entirely. We've made strides to make sure that women are respected and that they have rights and so on and so forth, but we don't have to go all the way to the point where women become inert and have no sexuality at all,
Yeah.
and their power lies in emulating men, because I don't derive my power from being masculine or from men. I just, power is not derived from men. Do you know what I'm saying?
I agree with that. And then it's also why did these actors and actresses say this kind of stuff before a movie comes out, the virtue signal, and then they tarnish the image in the movie, and then sometimes the movies don't have these messages, or it gets the whole Captain Marvel thing where it just derails the publicity for a movie. It's like just go out there and try to encourage people to see your movie, and then whatever message fans take away from it, let them make up their mind on that message, and maybe that message is there or not. And there's some things obviously I don't like about the Captain Marvel movie or portrayal, but she did a lot of damage to that movie by coming out and saying basically she only wanted she didn't want any white people to interview her, and the way she said it was just so horrible. Instead of just saying, hey, I'd like to see some more diversity in some of these reviewers, and maybe we could work towards that, and there should be opportunities for people, but instead they just take that sledgehammer and bang you over the head with it. And
Large Marge,
the Large
Marge didactic sledgehammer.
Yeah.
But you have made an incredibly salient point, and that is that if there was truth in execution, if there was sincerity there, if there was an actual a movement toward enlightened witness and civic engagement and creating the societal change, no one would have to point to it. You wouldn't have to go to the interview and say, look, I'm incredibly ashamed that I was in this movie. I dressed up as Catwoman. It was very erotic. I tried my very best not to be erotic. I took my $10 million check, and now I'm standing before you saying that it was wrong. It was bad, bad, bad. I'm a bad girl. And then everyone rushes to say, yes, that's bad. That's very bad. If anything was actually transpiring that was sincere, it would happen within the text. Women would go and see the movie, and women would say, wow, what a colossal change in Catwoman. Is she ever wonderful? She's tough. She's not crazy anymore. She's powerful, but she's also sexy.
Yeah.
And oh, I enjoyed it so much. She did trigonometry, like, I don't know, that she understood quantum theory, whatever, but it would happen within the text. What I don't like, and I love that you raised this point, Mark, is that it happens outside of the text. It's like a post review of their own behavior, as though they're admonishing themselves and Hollywood in the aftermath, and yet they completely participated, and everything that they're saying doesn't happen in the text.
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to not let the movie stand for itself. And then is Zoe gonna never wear anything that's sexy anymore? I guess in a movie or in a public life. I mean, that's part of the glamour of Hollywood is people want to see women dress up in all these outfits and look gorgeous on the red carpet, and that's what
And evidently, the superhero craze that we've been experiencing with all these superhero movies, so do women. The fewer clothing men are wearing, the better, and they better be doing 7,000 crunches a day. Otherwise, the women won't like it. Everyone wants men to look like Thor and what's his name, Chris Hemsworth and Jason Momoa now. And I just it's the height of hypocrisy. Zoe Kravitz, her father is an international sex symbol. Her mother was an international sex symbol, and her stepfather is an international sex symbol. And if you go and Google images of her, you'll find that she is turning into an international sex symbol.
She's gorgeous.
So the fact that she is disgusted by the deplorable nature of Catwoman is just it's so funny. You have to firmly plant your tongue in your cheek and say to yourself, is this an adult talking?
Yeah, and isn't her stepfather Momoa? I'm trying to remember.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's the whole family, and part of the reason you get far is, your gorgeous looks, right? So I mean, you've got you won the genetic lottery too in terms of being, with your looks, and then your skill. Not that you don't have to work hard and become a success. I'm not, saying that's not, automatic, but hey, you've got a lot of legs up there, a lot of privilege, for where you grew up with, and part of that is your looks. I mean, you've got talent.
Her father rarely appears in public with a shirt on. I know, because I follow him on Instagram. I believe he is one of the sexiest men to ever be born. But I can count on one hand how many times I've seen Lenny Kravitz with a shirt on. And I can definitely tell you right now that the second that Jason stops doing his crunches, he's not going to be up for an Academy Award. I don't see him doing Forrest Gump, do you? I don't see him doing A Few Good Men. I don't see him doing On Golden Pond. This man is all about the ab workout and women looking at his naked body. And they'll take every opportunity they can to show him without clothes on. So when you come from a family of international sex symbols who rarely wear clothes, and you rarely wear clothes yourself, please don't talk don't talk down to Catwoman.
Yeah,
it's a bunch of crap.
Yeah,
bunch of crapola.
Yep. And Catwoman, the portrayals you had, Eartha Kitt was a groundbreaking portrayal too. When you think about it in the '60s, kind of like Lieutenant Uhura having,
right,
a prominent role.
Athena Follower, hello there.
Hey, how's it going, Athena?
Well, they didn't even make a big deal about it. They just did
right? It wasn't. They just did it, right?
There was no such thing as virtue signaling back then. They just changed. I guess Julie Newmar needed to leave the role, and they cast Eartha. They didn't say, "Look at us, how great we are for casting Eartha." Nor did I, to my knowledge, they get any kind of pushback. I'm sure that maybe there have been some, I don't know, but you never really hear anything about it. It just happened, and that was that. They just did it because they could have put anyone in there.
And she was great in the role.
Did Eartha Kitt go on Good Morning America and say that she was very ashamed for playing an erotic character like Catwoman?
I would tend to doubt it. I don't know, but I'm going to say I doubt it.
Yeah, right.
I think she just was glad to get a role, and that was that.
Yeah, it seems like the performing the admonishment for social media is the idea and there's nothing sincere in it, and it's just like, okay, all right, so you're completely ashamed of this. Why did you do it?
Yes, Phantom Outsider. No, Julie Newmar was doing a film called McKenna's Gold or something like that, and she couldn't do it. So, yeah, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, no. I was done. I love it when you talk. So just take it away.
No. I was I, Lee Merriweather was good. Arthur Coat was okay, but Julie Newmar was that show's Batman for me. I mean, she was just phenomenal there. So, but yeah, Zoe Kravitz. Look, someone mentioned earlier, I think it was Michael Bickham said, no one ever even talks about this movie unless it's something to do with some stupid controversy on the set, or in this case, one of the actors opens their big stupid mouth about something. If this
Yeah.
movie ever even gets finished, the sparkly Bat Boy, it's going to be garbage. Let's just be honest. Matthew Reeves is a Jar Jar Abrams acolyte. I don't care that he made some of those recent Planet of the Apes movies. He's a dope. This is a terrible casting for Batman. This movie's going to be garbagio.
Yeah, whenever
You heard it here
whenever
first,
I'm
folks.
fully ashamed of some job that I'm gonna do, I just don't do the job. If somebody says to me, look, like, can you do this appearance? Can you speak here? Or can you, I may give it a try, but if it turns out to be a bad thing, or I don't like it, or it doesn't represent my values, I exit stage right. Exit stage right. I don't I don't do it and then call up all the cameras and be like, oh, I can't believe I did that. I'm awful. This show is awful. But you know what? I'm a good person because I know that what I did was awful. It's just so ridiculous. I can't even believe adults are doing this on social media
Well,
and on TV.
They're not adults. If you're talking about Hollywood people, they're not adults. They're not. They may be the age of adults, but they're not adults. They're children.
Yeah.
That's awful,
Hollywood
awful. But I'm pumped. Sorry, another bad one.
This is Raphael preaching. The opposite end of the hypocrisy is how making fun of fat men is fine, but making fun of fat women is bad.
Yep.
Well, because us guys who happen to be that way, we make fun of ourselves. We can take it. We don't care, and we don't get butthurt about it. We go, yeah, I make fun of me. I deserve it. I got myself this way. But in the other case, and the guy, I'm sure there's some women who could handle it too. But you're right. You're not supposed to do it.
Excuse me. I prefer the term dimensionally challenged.
Thank you.
I don't like that other F word. But yeah, no, it's true though. I mean, guys, you get bullied as, for being heavy or big too, and then you're supposed to, not pay attention to it. But I've seen, kids who've been really tormented, and I was on some of the receiving end of that too. So it's until you start to work out and you can bench press 350, and the kid that used to pick on you is kind of scared of you all of a sudden. That's a fun change too. But it's but it's guys can suffer too. I mean, there's a quality in that, unfortunately. So, but I think it is a little bit easier for guys to get away with it, or if you've got the right psychology. I think it's definitely tougher for women, but it doesn't mean that guys can't suffer or be have get depressed about it either. So it's just that's the nature of nature, really.
Do you think we'll ever get to where I think it's where people can just be allowed themselves? We all go whoever without prejudice and be loved how we all, men and women, are. Be and who we want to be, no prejudice from both. We were kind of sort of there for a while, and it's regressing, unfortunately. There, Ash. I mean, for the most part, there's always going to be somebody who's going to be a jerk about stuff, but and now there's a certain faction out there that won't let you even do that in peace. But yeah, most people. You know what though, Ash? I think most people do. I think most people don't really care what anyone does with their own lives. I mean, the worst thing is when you are someone that is dimensionally challenged, as Mark says it, you get harangued by everybody. Everyone wants to tell you how you should eat and live and all that kind of stuff, and you're just like, yeah, I know, I'm the one like this. I'm either going to do it or I'm not. But you get haranguing me about it is for you. You feel better doing it. You're not doing me any good. Yeah, you feel better saying it. So
and it's not going to work either. Usually,
it's not going to work.
Well, I respect what you're saying, Clubby, and of course I respect what Mark is saying. I love you both. You guys are good friends of mine. Like in real life, you guys are my buddies. But at the same time, I think that there is a silent there is a silent pain that goes on with men that men don't discuss, where, if you call a girl fat, people think it's really bad. They're terrible towards you, and you're immediately assailed for even opening your mouth. But it's okay to make fun of men, like to say
Yep.
that men are fat blobs and so on and so forth. And on social media, we're seeing a real culture where guys are starting to reveal that they do suffer from eating disorders. Many of them are addicted to the gym, and you're seeing all these guys with all of these rage problems, baldness, being able to having erectile dysfunction and stuff. We all know that this is strongly connected with anabolic steroid use. And when you're seeing this culture of where we're sending messages, I think it's very childish and very insincere to make it seem as though only women receive these social messages. Only women receive and understand this semiology, these signs, these symbols, these artifacts, and only women are affected by it. I think I'm not trying to diminish what women go through. That's not my intention. But to pretend as though men do not receive any of these symbols, that these symbols go right over their head, these symbols, these signs, these artifacts, all this semiology has no effect on men at all, I think is bullcrap, because we know that guys have eating disorders too. We know guys are addicted to anabolic steroids. We know guys are going to the gym and becoming gym rats. And we know guys grow up getting the crap kicked out of them because they're a tub of lard or a fat pig or all these other things. And men are just supposed to take it on the chin. So I'm not here to diminish what has gone on with women and how society has controlled women's bodies. That's not my intention. What I am here to say is it is preposterous in this state and in this day and age, in this epoch, in this zeitgeist, that men are treated as though they're completely invisible and not a part of the equation at all. I just think it's a very dishonest thing and unintelligent thing to assume and project in social media, in media, and in life.
Yep. No, there you go.
Well said. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
just saying.
look at Adele, or they say Adele. Right? Mess up her name all the time. God bless her.
Who?
But she
Adele, yeah.
Adele. Yeah, I'm teasing. But she, I guess, was she teased about her weight or picked on for her weight? But I mean, I'm sure there was something. Now she's lost about, I guess, 30 stone or 7 stone, 30 pounds or more. God bless her. But that's part of the if she wants it, she did what was right for her to make herself feel better. But it's it's not easy out there, and it's not easy for look at some of the
They
male
attacked her for
actors
losing
too.
that weight, though, Mark.
Yeah, and then
You
they
realize
attacked.
that
Yeah, and then she got attacked.
there
Right?
was a whole contingent of her fans went after her and basically said, like, you're not one of us anymore, screw you, you're terrible, and they swore at her and called her bad names and mocked her and made fun of her, and now they don't want anything to do with her. They're not fans of her anymore because she lost weight. And
sick
this is what I mean.
Sick people. They're sickening people.
Yeah, it's bad. But we all need to be cognizant of that, because
that's a true societal sickness right there.
Yeah, and we need to be cognizant of that. We need to keep this discussion open and be talking about it as positively as we're talking about it tonight, because it is an integral part of the superhero universe. This fantasy that exists in comics and in films these days, and it is almost omnipresent. Like I said earlier, I think I heard somebody say it's like 96 to 98% of all movies are superhero movies. So let's keep the dialogue honest. Let's be honest. Let's be sincere in our discussions about these particular subjects.
I mean, they make a lot. I think that percentage is someone like exaggerating a little bit. I mean, they only make about anywhere from 3 to sometimes they're a total of maybe four years, so 4, so 5. So yeah, that's a little high, but still, yeah, they make a lot of them. They're the biggest, usually the biggest. Now they're not doing anything. There is no box office now, is there?
No.
not much fun anyway.
Yeah, right. Well, I
No.
guess
No, so yeah.
Venom. How did Venom 2 do?
I think
That broke 100 million, right?
I heard it did okay. It's
Let
I
me
didn't
check
go.
the box office mojos.
I
Let's
didn't
see
go,
what.
but you're right. But
I
yeah,
wanted to go. I like Tom Hardy. I think he's very handsome, but I don't like the evil character, that Venom character that
I don't
he
like. I
is.
never liked Venom anyway. I didn't see the first movie. You saw the first one, Raquel?
I did. Yeah, I did not like it. I don't like that character. That doesn't work for me. I'm a Christopher Reeve and
Yeah.
and Reeves. I forget the guy's first name.
Well,
The first Superman. I liked him.
there's
And
George Reeves and Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, and
Yep.
Christopher Reeve is my ultimate Superman of all
Yeah,
time.
love him.
If you want to make a nerd love geek stuff, give me guys like Christopher Reeve. What a Superman! Sexy, beautiful, honorable. Just like he just made you want to wake up and be a better version of yourself every day of your life. But yeah, I don't like the Venom. Can I ask the chat? What do you guys think of the Venom character? And anything anyone can teach me about the Venom character, because I really like Tom Hardy.
He's very popular, but here you have he's still a Spider-Man villain to me, and I never even liked him much as a Spidey villain, but he was, I at least understood the popularity as a villain. Then he started becoming more of like an anti-hero and getting his own type titles and different things like that. And, so he is very popular, not really my bag so much, but he's not, by the time Venom popped up and the symbiote and all that crap was going on, I dropped out of reading Spidey because I didn't like what was going on in it. And then he became super popular. And I was like, that guy, I don't know. He's based on the symbiote anyway, initially. And I don't care about Eddie Brock. There's the origin, but I still, it comes from Secret Wars, really. And I don't, I don't care about anything to do with Venom. Never liked him. And again, he's very popular. That's fine. He gets his own single movie. And all I could just think of was like, okay, a Spider-Man villain. He got his own comic a few times, of course. He got his own comic for a long time. But I just never cared about him. I mean, as a Spider-Man villain, I guess he's okay. But why he gets his own movie, and I didn't even bother watching it. So I don't know. People like it. Like people like that first one. And I'm not saying I wouldn't even watch it for the hell of it one day. I just never really got around to it.
I love Tom Hardy in Peaky Blinders. I believe that Peaky Blinders may be one of the greatest television shows ever made in the history of the box. Like in the history of television shows, there are few shows better in this world than Peaky Blinders. And I mean that across
Missus watched
genres.
and loved it. She told me I should watch it, so that's good.
Brett Cohen, thank you.
Yep.
It's a gangster. It's a gangster. It's about the travelers, and their whole culture and their mafia, and the Peaky Blinders were real. Now, of course, they're being dramatized in this particular show, but it is just. It's got Cillian Murphy in it. It's got Tom Hardy in it. It's got every single. Just the acting in it is absolutely incredible. You don't even feel like you're watching a TV show. You feel like you're reading a book. It's completely immersive, and it feels like the people are real. Like you're constantly going on Biography and Encyclopedia Britannica and looking up their names to make sure they're not real. They're that good. And so,
okay, well, everyone keep watching the show now, but don't. That sounds
Peaky
so
Blinders
awesome.
is hands down the most glorious television you'll ever watch, and I'm a huge science fiction person. That's drama, but or docudrama, very loose docudrama, but absolutely outstanding. But I'm with Clobby. When I see Tom Hardy as that Venom thing, it's like, what am I watching? It looks like sloppy licorice, like, and you can't even hear what he's saying. It's all like this slithery kind of thing, and like, WTF? That's what you're doing with Tom Hardy? You have Tom Hardy, and that's what you're doing with him? It's
well,
like,
I think
I don't know. It's like making Cillian Murphy Bozo the Clown.
Yeah, but he made that movie work, though. I don't think the movie would have been nearly as successful or well done. I mean, I enjoyed it as like a popcorn movie. Without his talent, I don't think that movie. I mean, the movie would have been a real dumpster fire. So, and the origin from I was really into the Spidey comics then, and McFarlane was drawing Spidey. So 298, I think, was his first issue, and then Venom's revealed in 300, and that it was just massive in the comic book industry. With McFarlane was just own the world basically back then with his art. And the origin of Venom is really cool in terms of Spider-Man, getting that black suit. I know you hate the black suit, but he's got
Yes,
that
sir, I
from
do.
he gets that suit, and the suit actually turns out to be be alive and
The
taking him
symbiote,
over and
right.
corrupting him. And symbiote. So that whole storyline, and of course spoilers, Reed Richards develops a sonic gun to help defeat the symbiote. And it's a great, I love that story. I think it's a great story. But then Venom was so popular that they then they eventually, I think Flash Thompson was wearing the suit as anti-Venom, and he's
Yeah,
becoming
he was.
a good anti-hero, kind of like a
Well-
Punisher type character. So I think and the idea that the goo and the stuff, that's the suit. So that's like that's and he hates Spider-Man so much with that the conflict there that he's the anti-Spidey basically. So he's got the his head can turn into that monstrous form, and it's a real. And if you don't like horror, I could see that too, where it's like he's supposed to be
I
this
don't.
real terrifying, scary character. And
Yeah.
and of course Sony, the reason you've got a Venom movie is because Sony, was their Spider-Man movies were flops, so now they're trying to make that shared universe, and that's why they're doing this with Venom, and I guess allegedly Spider-Man will be back. But you're watching the movie, it's like, why does Venom look like Spider-Man? If Spider-Man's not in
Yeah.
this universe. So, but Hardy is
Weird.
great. Hardy's fantastic. So he's
Hardy's wonderful. Good night,
Thank you.
David. Thank you for
I
coming,
can't-
David
Take
Raven.
care,
you're going-
David.
Oh, good night, man. I have to stop my chat, so I can't see it. Take care, cuz. Good to see you, buddy. I just want to say thank you to Brett Cohen for the $2 super chat. Tom and Taboo, great. Not exactly sure. I've heard of that show, but I haven't seen it. Brett, so thank you for that. You were asking, Raquel, what people think about Venom here. Well, you got a couple of comments. I don't.
Yeah.
Snort says he knows nothing about Venom.
Yeah.
Ash only cares about Tom Hardy and Charlie Hunnam.
Yep. Right.
And Kal-El is absolutely Venom is horrible in Spider-Man 3, which is a garbage movie.
Yeah, I agree, Kal-El.
Boy, that was terrible. Ooh,
It was absolutely awful. And Kal-El, can I please confess that I've never read a Spider-Man comic, and I was too old to be watching it. But by the time it was finally aired here in Canada, I used to watch the original Spider-Man cartoon, even though I was too old. When I would come home for lunch, I had a boyfriend at the time. I was a teenager, but I didn't care. I loved the jazz music on the original Spider-Man cartoon. I loved that Spider-Man. I loved the voice. If ever I could think of a comic or a cartoon being art for adults, it would be that version of Spider-Man. But I have to confess, like I said, I'm an academic, I'm a nerd, I'm not a geek, and so I come from a very humble, naive place, and I can't speak to it. But I will tell you that is a very, very, very marvelous Spider-Man. I love that Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, I love that cartoon. A lot of us do. Malcolm Beacom says, Raquel Briggs, I have not seen the movies, but in the comics, I despised Venom because he was evil. It was that I hate it when the villain starts becoming the hero to become to some people is twisted. And yeah, I cannot. Anti-hero stories can be okay sometimes, but in comics, when a villain starts to get changed, I mean, it's been done a couple of times, but Eddie Brock is a little piece of garbage. And so, I mean, at least Flash Thompson was a good guy. He had, I don't know why they had to do that with him, but at least there's something in Flash Thompson was just a jerk and a bully, but he was a little bit, he wasn't a villain per se, but Eddie Brock's a little piece of crap. And him, I don't know. I just never liked the character that much.
I loved what Michael Beacom just said. Michael Beacom, I loved your comment. That was a wonderful thing to say, and certainly sentiments that I share. Good fellow, my good fellow. What a great comment. Thank you for that, Michael Beacom.
Venom is a guy who is down on his luck, who hates Spider-Man. Yes, Carnage is a total madman, and Cletus Cassidy's a nut. He's insane. I never liked Carnage either, but again, that's just this. These characters came around at a time when I dropped Spidey. I liked the old Spidey villains.
Yeah.
I never really liked, liked these characters. I never liked Venom. A
Yeah.
Spider-Man villain who is a serial killer is horrible. Spidey doesn't
Yeah.
kill, and Carnage kills. Anyone he can't. Anyone he can't. It is a huge mistake to have him made a Spidey villain. He's way too dark.
Yes.
Thank you, Phantom Outsider. I hate Carnage. I mean, at least I don't know. I'm not big on Venom, but I really hate Carnage. And now they make a movie with him. They can suck it. I don't care about it.
And acid jazz. How come Spider-Man doesn't have acid jazz anymore? I mean, it was so cerebral. It was so beautiful. It was so wonderful to watch. I loved it when he would go down to the nightclub to get himself a drink and walk in and the band's playing. And of course it's acid jazz, or it's just, jazz. What a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful show. And I'm not big on cartoons. Like, I actually hate cartoons. I don't know how adults watch them. They're a head desk for me.
Easy. We're not adults.
That Spider-Man though, that's an exception for me. That Spider-Man, I would watch that today, and I would do it fearlessly and proudly. I love that Spider-Man.
And I'm addicted to cartoons, so I'm definitely no adult. The first Venom movie did well and made over $800 million. Worldwide, for one reason, it was Stan Lee's last cameo appearance. Are you sure? What did that come out? Did that come out before Endgame?
I don't know.
I'll check. Yeah, but the Venom movies made. I'll check, but Venom.
Maybe you did.
Movie,
I can't remember.
Venom has made 127 million worldwide so far, 106 domestic, 21 worldwide. Or is it Venom 2 or Venom Let There Be Carnage? Yeah. So let me check what the first movie did.
Yeah,
I love you too, Esh. I love you very much. And Chris Persia's asked me a question that I'm going to need help with from my captain. Chris, I love you and I'll never ignore you. Chris says, Raquel, have you ever watched the original Spider-Man TV series with Nicholas Hammond? I don't know what that is, Chris.
We could get that for you.
Honey?
Well, that was in 1977. I know you're familiar with the the Bill Bixby, Lou Ferrigno Incredible Hulk series. Everyone knows that one. Well, Marvel was trying a few things. They tried a Doctor Strange pilot that did not do well. They had a couple of Captain America TV movies that were not with Red Brown that weren't that great. Well, they tried a Spider-Man series that only lasted kind of basically pretty much a season. Nicholas Hammond played him, who was one of the kids in Mary Poppins.
The Hills Are Alive.
And then he was,
Sorry, I don't want me to sing. Sound of Music.
The Sound of Music. Sorry, I always get those two confused because they're silly musicals. And he was on Brady Bunch. He was well known for being. And I had him on my show for the Spider-Man 50th anniversary. Flash had him on in 2012. He came on my show because Flash used to talk to him all the time. And Nicholas Hammond was a cool dude. He came on for about 25 minutes, whatever. He joined us. He lives in Australia, although he's an American actor. Oh, wow. And he was in lots and lots of TV and stuff. And he's a nice dude. And and I like that show. Then at the time, I love that really cool jazz opening theme and stuff. It's really, really good.
Okay, I need to
maybe show
this.
some.
Thank you,
Clobby can show some pictures of that show for Raquel. She can see Nicholas Hammond and the Spider-Man. Yeah,
it's again, it was pretty. It was cheesy, but compared to and he was not really equipping Peter Parker or any of that kind of stuff. But he was a good dude, and it was popular.
Yeah, because I was around 10 years old at the time. And that was a huge deal. It's like I can't go. I think I'm guessing it was on Friday night or Saturday night. But I'm like, I can't go anywhere tonight because Spider-Man's going to be on TV. It was like trying to read every article, and he would shoot his web shooter once an episode because that was the budget. And they had an act. I mean, they did what they could with the special effects at the time, but they had the stuntmen were pretty incredible. But they had him scaling buildings and doing trying to do what they could without CGI and practical effects. He had a crazy
effects. Like a rope for the one web shooter. Now the thing is, he was asked because and I thought Mary Poppins because that Sound of Music. I don't know. I never watched those things, but he was asked what are the things he gets recognized for the most because he was a kid in Sound of Music. And he was a little bit older and for Brady Bunch. So he said, it's those three. He says, it's Spider-Man or it's Brady Bunch. One episode, by the way. Or that movie, Sound of Music. Those are the things. He was in a lot of other stuff. This guy was on a Magnum episode. I think he was on Bonanza. He was on, and I was asking him about all these shows he made cameos on. He was really cool. I was asking him Fantastic Journey. No one remembers Fantastic Journey but me. It didn't last. It was a science fiction show about the Bermuda Triangle that brought all these people into another dimension. It lasted less than a season. Roddy McDowell was on it. And I thought, I'm going to get him on this one. He's not even going to remember.
He won't remember being on it.
These actors go, that was 30 years ago. Man, he remembered everything about it. That being on Magnum 30-something years earlier, he was Gunsmoker Bonanza, one of them. And I love them both. I get them confused. It was one of those. And all these other Westerns, and he was a really engaging guy. And it's pretty cool.
Sounds great.
But yes, those are the ones he gets recognized for. I guess we could find the picture of
Esh Singh, yes. I think that I think it's very important in the world of Google to not Google when you're on a show, and also as an instructor, a college instructor, and as an academic, I think it's incredibly important to say when you don't know. And I think it's a mark of an educated mind to be able to say, you know what, I don't know. Can you teach me? Because we live in a world where Google is just one click away. And so everybody believes they know everything and everyone is an expert at everything. And they feel like when they get on these streams that they have to make sure that they Google everything and make sure that they appear to be experts. I have my own areas of expertise, but certainly not this area. And that's also why I hang around with Mark and Clobby. They teach me quite a lot and I love learning from them. And you're never too old to learn. And I don't think you should ever be too proud to say you don't know, and just put the Google down and listen to what experts have to say. And I love your comment, and I love you, Esh.
Yeah, just admit it. I mean, now I don't even have. With a guy like Phantom Outsider around, I never have to do anything again.
That's true. That's a good point.
Phantom Outsider is pretty good.
He's awesome.
Now I don't even try anymore. I figured Phantom could be here, so if I'm going to screw something up, I got him. He'll nail me on it.
But people don't want to admit they don't know something or haven't seen something anymore. It's like, it's okay if you don't remember.
I forget.
I always say
every day.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forget so much crap. But it is annoying though when you remember. You go, oh yeah.
What was that?
Why did I mix that up with this other thing? My biggest thing is mixing things up. Like I go, oh, I got that backwards. It was I hate that.
Yeah.
But
like something like this was so important to me as a kid to watch that TV series. That I remember talking with our friends. I remember, it was coming on, watching it. It was a big deal. It's like, I've got the TV tonight. The TV's mine, because you couldn't watch it after. I mean, that was it. It was on, and we didn't have a VCR, back then to watch that. So if you missed that show, that was it. You were SOL. So, or you had to wait to see if it maybe came on in a rewatch or rewind, and then you'd have to look in the TV guide to see what episode number was or what it was. I mean, you wouldn't, there were no, you couldn't get, the internet to look up and say, oh, issue 3, episode 3, next Thursday you can watch it. Or it's so those are some classic pictures. Yeah,
I wish we could play the opening theme song.
we'll get now.
This is Chris's suggestion to me, right?
What?
Is that who this is? That's the Nicholas Hammond
That's
fellow?
Nicholas Hammond, yeah.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, what have you done, Chris? Now I'm gonna have to watch this.
It's probably, the episodes are probably on YouTube. You got the opening theme. I'm so tempted to play it. I love just the opening credits would be fun to play. That music. It's almost comparable in a sense to the music from the 60s cartoon.
Oh,
that's great. Yeah.
And the show's not even, it's goofy, but at the time, oh my God. In fact, they planned a Hulk Spidey crossover that never happened. But because the show didn't he told us about that. But the thing about this, I told Nicholas Hammond this story. And he was such a cool sport about it. This was 1977. My family was very, very religious. And of course, they used to make us go to church not only on Sunday, but there was like this big time Holy Roller church. They used to make us go on Wednesday nights. It was actually a Wednesday night church.
Well, wasn't the Hulk on then?
Guess what was that was Fridays. Guess what
Fridays?
Guess what debut was Wednesday? Guess what show was debuting that we knew about because the TV guide and ads in the comic books. Guess what was going to be on? It was Spidey. Oh, Michael Beacom, thank you for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. Have a great
Aw.
night. Take
Good
care.
night, Michael. Thank
Yes,
you for your
Spidey
company.
was gonna, and there's no way I'm missing that. And
I'm going to hell for Spidey.
We were left on our own recognizance, and I told him, I said, sir, you probably responsible for me going to hell. He says, what? And he was laughing. I told him, and I said, so my parents, they trusted I and my brothers to go to church. It's stupid. Guess who said, sure, we're going. Because I forgot what they were going. Also, we were going in two different cars, and my older brother, was driving the car, and some of us played hooky. Some of us played truant and did not go, and stayed home to watch this because you could set the VCR that didn't exist.
Yeah,
and we certainly didn't have anyway. So and I told him about that. He got a kick. He said, "Well, I'm sorry I made you." And I said, "Yes, sir. It's all your fault." But he was a really cool dude. And this show, look, he's got that one stupid web shooter.
The one web shooter. Yeah, I always remember that.
It just gets it was the white rope. he didn't find any of the.
My gosh!
And they'd shoot him. Yeah, once a week, like I said. Once a week.
Shoot it once a week. He would swing on it like once or twice an episode. He didn't have any of the traditional villains. J. Jonah Jameson was there, but that's about it. The only character. I mean, he was not in characterization. Not really Spidey.
Yeah, it wasn't the wisecracks and things like that.
Just like a regular dude, nice, laid back kind of guy.
And they did combine some of this, the episodes to make TV movies out of them. I can't remember which ones, but yeah.
Well, there's a link right there. There you go.
I love you, Chris. Thank
you.
you.
Go, yeah.
Also, what did the stuntman go through if that is how he was swinging? That's crazy.
You know who was on that show, right? With him. Do you remember? Does everyone remember? Joanna Cameron, Isis, was on this show. I love Isis.
Oh.
Joanna, remember her?
Yeah, she was very, very good looking.
Almighty Isis. There she is. Oh my God! In heaven, I loved her. This was after she played Isis stuff too. So she was on a
gorgeous,
quote, a DC show and a Marvel show. Yeah, so
that's good. It's on YouTube for everyone to watch. Thanks, Chris. Yep. It was a fun show. It was just to actually see a superhero live on TV was just a big deal. And you almost didn't even care what was on the episode. And
she's
gorgeous.
As
an 8-year-old, yeah. Well, I didn't realize how gorgeous she was.
She doesn't even have any makeup on. She's gorgeous.
Look at her as Isis. Almighty Isis. Oh my God, was she fantastic?
Oh, there she is with makeup. She's quite beautiful. Oh my.
Yeah, everyone loved
Isis.
Oh my. Oh my.
Yeah, she's quite beautiful, isn't she?
Yeah. Yep. So she was on a DC show and a Marvel show. Yeah, great stuff though.
Yeah, they weren't that many episodes, but it was a fun show.
I guess.
How are the I wonder what the rate. I guess the ratings weren't great, or it was.
Well, wasn't it?
Or just too expensive. I don't know what.
Certainly don't look like they spent any money on it.
Yeah. Right.
I love Clobby's brutal honesty. He could love something and it could be so cheap, but he'll be like, "Look, it's cheap and cheerful, but I love it." He's so honest.
I mean, you got to admit it. I mean, Joe, that Isis show though. I watched it. I can't imagine why, but right after the Shazam Isis hour, Joanna Cameron once held the record for having been in the most commercials. Everything from Burger King to Legs Patios. Really? There's a record for that? Wow! Holy crap!
Well, she looks like she's got the gams for a Legs commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the Legs commercial? It was like, didn't they have like something that was like the Rockettes?
Mm-hmm.
That was so funny. They would all lay down on their backs and they would just be kicking their feet and the legs came in that silly egg container. You could take your pantyhose out of an egg container.
Snort says totally authentic Egyptian goddess miniskirt. I guess Snort's an old polar bear, so He lived
I ran
back in Egyptian times, right?
at Dragon Con, I ran into a hottie that did this costume quite well.
Oh, nice.
And there she is flying. What's it? Oh, mighty winds upon the sky, lift me now so I can fly. What the hell she said?
Aw.
Yeah.
Look at that bird. What is that? Is that a
Yeah.
crow or an eagle?
How? Who? What? When? Where?
Over on the left, boss man.
I'm trying.
Below the flying picture.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's her little.
That's her staff.
No,
staff thingy.
not her staff. There's she looks like
Oh,
on her right shoulder. She's a giant bird. What the heck's going on with that?
3 pictures to the right of the flying one.
Yeah.
It's
Right
a black
there.
and white
Yeah.
photo in the middle.
It is a crow, or is
It's
it a
a
raven?
crow. Yeah, some kind of bird thingy.
But if you go to the middle, go to the
She's
right. That
beautiful.
one right there. Yep.
Yeah. She was magnificent, and we boys loved her.
Yeah.
Well,
Why are you not playing outside right now?
look at
Yeah, you because Shazam's on, Mom.
Yeah.
well that one
Shazam.
photograph of her in
No, that's
black
ISIS.
and white. Wow, she's just she doesn't even look real, and that's before they had Photoshop. She just looks so gorgeous. Hey, Alaric Harrison
Alaric.
just walked through the door.
Hello, hello. Good to see you. Yes, Shazam. That was the Filmation live action stuff. You can't beat it.
Good stuff.
And that-
And they just
now-
redid Shazam too.
Yeah, but did they put ISIS out?
I don't know if they redid ISIS, but Shazam looked beautiful. They did a blue, 4K conversion. Looked gorgeous. It was on DC Ultimate before it went to WB. I don't know if
Well,
or Warner Brothers. I don't know if they have it now on the new network.
they might put ISIS out because ISIS is going to be in that stupid Black Adam movie, probably. I think she's supposed to be in that. I don't know. So we'll see anyway. But yeah. You talk about old shows like this. One of the things I want to do one of these days is get from everyone a list from each one of you when we do this one night, a list of show. If you even have any, you may not even have any shows that you love that no one else remembers. Shows that didn't last very long. But were great. There was an old network on my direct TV many years ago. I forget which one it was now, maybe Ion or whatever, where they had a feature. They had this night where it was called Brilliant But Canceled, and it would show very short-lived TV shows that no one ever remembers because they didn't have a long enough run for syndication.
That's an interesting topic. Yeah. Well, you've got a great memory for that stuff. You've mentioned some series that I've got to look up. What was the Parker Hammond?
This down at the bottom, you can scream at Probe.
What was
Probe,
right? Yeah, Probe.
Parker Isaac Asimov's Probe. That's one I love the most, probably. But see, everyone remembers Firefly and how it got screwed.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Firefly, Raquel?
Oh, I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
I didn't consider it science fiction. And then I was in a university class where we were talking about film. And the instructor was talking about how she had always hated science fiction. She thought science fiction was terrible and a real snooze, and she couldn't enjoy it. And then her husband convinced her to watch Firefly, and she found it intriguing enough that it was the only science fiction that she could, imbibe. It was the only science fiction that she liked. And so I thought, oh, okay, converted her. Weird.
Wow.
Let me go check it out. So I checked it out, and yeah, it's okay. I think it's good. It's not too shabby. I currently live in the city where Nathan Fillion was born and raised.
That's right.
So there are lots of Nathan Fillion fans here. I hope no one can hear my puppies fighting in the background.
We like puppies. It doesn't matter. We like puppies. Pop Culture Republic, welcome. Good to see you. Captain James T. Skywalker, what's up, dude? Maybe you were here earlier. I'm not. Let's see, but we have some mentions. Minimus is here. Listen to the puppy. I love puppy dogs. That's funny.
I have 2 1-pound chihuahuas, and they just woke up for their nap. From their nap, I mean, and they're just absolutely obnoxious right now.
You have a question,
They're too
Raquel?
young to even bark. They can't even bark, so that's why they're like. Rah, rah, rah.
Alaric, you probably wouldn't hear earlier when Raquel says she hates cartoons, but the answer, I'll let her answer it. Have you ever watched, Raquel? Have you ever watched the anime Cowboy Bebop? It has jazz music. Yes, it does. All throughout the episodes. If you haven't just watched the first episode, see what you think. It's on Hulu. I know that much. But so have you watched that?
No, I have not. And unfortunately, I don't think that Hulu will ever be coming to Canada. I've looked into it a couple
Oh.
of times and we don't
Oh.
get Hulu here. But thank you
Hmm.
for the suggestion. And I have someone who helps me watch things that I can't get in my country. And
Yes, he's a very bad person too.
Things are tough to watch. Things are tough to get.
Things that are tough to
Paraphrasing
watch. He helps me and he is very kind and it's all on the up and up. He pays for the system and everything else. So it's not like we're stealing anything, but he does help me watch things that are blacked out in my country. So I will try. Canada has some pretty strange heritage and cultural laws on CanCon, Canadian content, and so that also limits how much I can watch and what's available to me. But I will look into it. I promise I will.
There you go. So yeah, it's actually that's an anime, and it's similar. Some say it's kind of similar to Firefly, really, but I was a Firefly fanatic. I mean, when it first came on, because I was such a Buffy fan, I recorded it because it was Whedon, and and they only aired 11 of the episodes here, and then it got canceled. And I just watched. I wore out the VHSs that I had when I was watching it over and over again. And then in 2004, kind of one of the first of the conventions that have a lot of the Firefly people was Dragon Con that year. Nathan Fillion and Jewel State and Adam Baldwin were there. It was a lot of fun, and Brown Coats got together. Mrs. Dadman walking is here.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hi, Mrs. Dadman.
Dadman. There's Dadman.
And
Wow.
Dadman. Awesome.
Hey, good to see you both.
Yeah, great to see you guys. And
And so-
the chat, there are some folks in the chat saying I hate cartoons. I didn't say hate
Oh, we're just
cartoons. I don't watch cartoons as an adult. I don't enjoy them. And that doesn't mean that the cartoons are bad. It just means it's not my taste. I remember when heavy metal came out and
Oh, yeah.
everyone
That was
loved it and everyone
Oh,
wanted to
God.
watch it and
Yeah,
everyone
I love
thought
it.
it
That was tough
cool.
to get too.
Yeah.
It just wasn't my cup of tea. I've just never been into it. I did like Spider-Man. I also really loved Rocket Robin Hood. I thought Rocket Robin Hood was really cool. But just as an adult, I've just never been able to enjoy cartoons. And it's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just me.
That's just the way you are, yeah.
Yeah,
But like
just-
heavy metal, like we had one buddy recorded it like late night on HBO, and I think we wore that tape out, like you did.
Oh,
with,
God, yeah.
I mean, because you couldn't buy it, and you could, it was just on a few times, and I don't know, it was the musical rights, or it took forever. And I love
Right.
I love all
that.
the short stories and the anthology.
Stern!
going
I love
through
the Captain Stern the best.
Oh God, it was so good. So, and of course there were other reasons. As a teenage boy, you might like that cartoon too. But it was just
Right.
it had the whole package for
Phantom Outsider.
for those of us. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I love it. He said, yes, do I remember Once a Hero? I do. Captain Justice comic book, Marvel did a comic tie-in. Hero comes into the real world and meets his creator at episode 3 as arch enemy arrives. Wants the approval of the creator. Wasn't Adam West in an episode of that? Outsider, if I'm remembering right. The great, I said it wrong. The great Adam West.
Yeah.
The great Adam West.
Clubby,
The God Adam West. Yes, ma'am.
teach me and Mark, please teach me about the Iron Giant. My Conan in Vegas is asking me if I know about the Iron Giant. Please teach me about this.
How many
it's a
times have you
film.
watched it?
Who, me?
Never.
Oh, yeah.
No, never. Okay, all right, there we go. Okay.
The Iron Giant is a wonderful animated film, and again, you like to say if you don't feel if cartoons don't do it for you, they don't do it for you. That's cool. I love it. It's basically about this giant made of iron that is an alien weapon, but it gets damaged when it lands into the Earth's atmosphere. If I'm remembering right, it's been a while since I've seen it, and it doesn't have any kind of memory, and it befriends a boy. And I'll just leave it at that. But it is one of the greatest, in my opinion, one of the greatest animated films ever made. It's one of.
Really?
If I were just making a list of animated films, it's beautiful. It's brilliant. I absolutely adore it. Retro Dicky.
Well, it's Brad Bird. Raquel.
He said they
That
don't
was the
establish that it's
director.
an alien. Are you sure they don't establish this an alien? It's an alien weapon.
I
That's what we
hate
It's
did.
definitely
Disney,
from
but I
outer
loved
space.
Wally.
Yeah, it's from space.
I thought
Yeah, no.
Wally was good, everyone. Like that to me, like Wally blew me away. And I hate Disney.
Yeah,
I don't
I
like
didn't-
Disney at all. And
Was-
I thought Wally or no, Wally was Pixar. But
was
was that
Pixar.
when it was Disney? I
That
don't
was,
know.
yeah, yes, it was
Anyway,
Disney.
What
I
was
thought
the
Wally was great.
what was the cartoon in the 60s or 70s? Was a Frankenstein monster, and it would help. There was a kid that,
Frankenstein Jr. and the Impossibles.
yeah. So is that kind of? Do you think Iron Giant was maybe influenced a little bit by that portrait with
I
the
don't
young
know.
kid?
It's kind of like Gigantor in some ways.
Gigantor too, yeah. But
I could have sworn
yeah,
it was from space.
it's a really great,
Wasn't he
well
from
done
space?
movie. You forget you're watching a movie or animated movie when you're. It's just so well
It's
done.
better
I
than
wasn't too big on Wally, but I hear you. I mean, I love Toy Story and Toy Story 2 and even 3, and I love The Incredibles and that kind of stuff. But yeah, but I love Iron Giant. But again, like I say, the
I'll
thing
watch
is,
it tonight.
it's a moot point if you're not really into animated films or cartoons. But anyone who is, see all these superhero movies, because we were talking about superhero movies a lot earlier, or live action superheroes. There's some that I really like, but I would make a deal in a heartbeat if they would start making animated adaptations of some of my favorite comics in series form or even in movie form, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't and I'll leave their stupid live action movies to them because they never get them really the way I want them. They
Yeah.
do. Whereas I wish Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes had not gotten cut short because that's a great cartoon. My mid '90s FF cartoon season 2, Batman animated series was fantastic. The Justice League cartoon, but the Bruce Timm cartoons,
Well, cartoons
some of those
open the
things,
world up for fidelity, don't they, Clobby? And in so doing, while you're saying this, you're hopping alongside Gene Roddenberry when he decided that he was going to try TAS because of the opportunities for fidelity and for
Right.
the opportunities of trying ideas that could not be done in real life, and there's just no way that it could happen because we didn't have CGI and so on and so forth. So I love that you're saying that because I think that they would be quite successful if they just stopped all this live action stuff and did some of those classic comic books and did them as cartoons and showed high fidelity. High fidelity, I think, would be key, and then the cartoon would be able to facilitate it. And I don't think live action will ever be able to match the imaginary world created in the short stories of comic books.
Absolutely. This is from a professional animator. Steve says the Iron Giant should have its own course in film school. Absolutely, it's just a wonderful film.
Yeah,
And,
I've known Steve Mitchum for a while now, and he's a good friend, and he knows me from Saturday Night Star Trek, and we've hung out for several months now. So I'm definitely going to be taking that into account, and that does affect my opinion about whether or not I watch something. So,
Yeah.
Steve, I did write that down right beside Chris Persia's URL to watch that live action Spider-Man. I will definitely check it out, and only because you said it. And then Clobby joined in and said, "Yeah, it's good." So I'll check it out. And thank you so much for thinking of me and for even being kind enough to even give me a suggestion.
Yeah, the story is just such an iconic story too. It's just it's got
you like it too, Mark?
I
my
love
goodness.
it. Oh, it's
Everyone
yeah,
loves it.
watch it with my kids, and it's one of those great family movies you can watch and enjoy when they're younger and older. And it's got a great message in the movie too. So it's he's the alien, he's the other. So in some ways, it's it's classic sci-fi. In terms of think of the Horta. In some ways, or
there's a lot of Trek in this, and if you think about it, I mean, there's a lot of Star Trek in this thing.
Okay, well,
Star
I will
Trek
check
spirit,
it out.
I think. And that's
Michelle's not sleeping tonight.
No, I won't.
Enchanting movie.
Before he leaves, and I would love to get to the very patient Zathras, who asked us a while back if we could please turn to B5. So I just want to
yeah.
ask, is there any B5 news that anyone would like to discuss? What is developing? Go ahead, chat. Throw up any of your comments if you want to vent, if you have opinions, you know, if you found something out or you heard something or you read an article. It would be my absolute pleasure to bring B5 to the floor for our buddy, our loyal friend, Zathras. He'd like to dig into some B5. So, you know, let her rip, chat.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see him ask that. So,
Yeah.
well, we all know there's the announcement of the reboot, de-imagining the reboot by J. Michael Straczynski. Yeah, I'm with you, Zathras. I just don't see the need for that. I don't see the logic behind it personally. I don't think it needs to be done. He is something, I don't know. Does he need money and all that kind of stuff? If so, I guess God bless him. Let him go make us money. He's going to put it. The fact that it's on the CW Cringe Woke Network means that even if I were open to a remake, which I'm not, I'd be like, now that you're putting it there, you're even killing any chance of me wanting to watch it. But again, yes, this is slightly different in the sense that it's not someone else doing it. It is. Yes, Singh, J. Michael Straczynski, the creator of Babylon 5, is remaking his own show, and it's going to be on CW. And I'm still not down with it. Not that it's perfect. No show's perfect that lasts 5 years, but whatever flaws it had before, there's no way he's going to improve on it. Because again, remember, this is not him revisiting that universe, adding to it or anything like this. He is remaking it, which means, as far as I understand what a remake or a reboot is, it's he's recasting these characters. So I'm sorry, I'm not interested in anyone being John Sheridan but Bruce Boxleitner.
No.
Right there. Delenn is Myra Furlong. I'm not interested in Michelle Garibaldi. Okay?
No.
The hell with that. Susan Ivanova is Claudia Christian in the story. All these Alando and Jakar, anyone else playing him? Hey, forget about it. So look, I'm not going to be sneaking into your house and stopping you from watching it, but
no,
I am just
It doesn't make sense to do something like that. I mean, the only one I could, reference would be Battlestar Galactica that was, very successful, but it was something totally separate. So why would you,
unless the original Galactica lasted a year and a half.
Yeah, but unless you're doing something radically different and like a new universe, or I don't even know how. Like, what's the point of like now I'm hearing rumors that people have been saying that for a while now. Disney's going to remake the original Star Wars trilogy and reimagine it.
Oh.
So you can imagine how horrible that would be. I mean, that's been a rumor that has been floated for a while, and I keep seeing it more and more. So it's like come up with something new or extend the story or maybe do a backstory or if you want do an origin of some of the characters. I prefer just to extend the story, not to. But Battlestar Galactica is one of the few ones that
right. When I'm selling a story and people buy my stories, they read one of my short stories and they really like it. People really like Georgia. Everyone wants me to turn Georgia into a long form science fiction novel. Everyone who reads it says that to me. Wouldn't it be great if I realize that Georgia is very, very popular and that people really like this story. So I'll just rewrite it and I'll recast Georgia as Bob and I'll just retell the story. Only it's not Georgia, it's Bob. Like, I just think I can't believe that they're trying to make it seem as though this is something artistic when what it is it is taking a story and a storyteller and it's turning it into IP, it's turning it into a franchise, it's turning it into a corporate regurgitation. And I'm with Clobby. On the CW, are you serious? That's like saying that Babylon 5 is going to be inserted into a choose your own adventure with Knots Landing. Never mind. This is garbage. Just no. This is crap.
And you're gonna hit something weird here because I've never really. You're a big fan of the Galactica reboot. You both are. And look, the original Galactica, which I love, that only lasted a year. I mean, I'm not counting Galactica 1980. So
Yeah.
it was never, if it'd gone 5 or 6 years, it may have been a lot more difficult to quote unquote reboot.
Yep.
Because it had
Agreed.
lasted a lot longer. There's a big history to it. And it wasn't, so I'm not saying that they wouldn't have, but Ronald Moore had plenty to work with because all he had was like one season it was well liked. It was a fun show. It was like a family space show adventure, but it wasn't taken all that seriously. And this someone loves it, by the way. I love it, but it wasn't taken all that seriously. So he was able to kind of do something with something that was sort of like it was a one little bitty piece. It was a slight foundation, but there was nothing. There was no building there. It was a foundation with a slab maybe that was laid, and that was about it. You didn't have 4, 5, 6 years, 7 years, or whatever of a series. So I could, even though whether you like it or not, so you can go, okay, he didn't really dump all over something that was established. It was 1 year of a show with some really good actors and characters. It was well liked, and that's that. This is Babylon 5 is far too established to have a remake because you've already got 5 years plus all those movies.
Yeah.
Spinoff show that may not have been as successful, but still, you have a very established universe with very established characters. And you got, yes, the same guy who created those. I understand that. Nevertheless, it doesn't make it any more appealing to me. And then, by the way, I would also point out that J. Michael Straczynski, bless him for making Babylon 5, and I love it, even though there are episodes that aren't great either, just like any other show. His comic book writing proves that he's not always, no one's perfect, but he's written some very, very questionable, some very bad stuff, to be quite honest. However, if this were just a continuation within that universe, it might be one thing, but this is going to, even though it's him, it still really boils down to the fundamental that I don't want to see anyone else playing those characters. And we all know he's going to what the casting is going to be like anyway. Yeah. Even if I was open to it, which I'm not, we all know what the casting is going to be like.
It's disrespectful too because the lady who played Delenn just died. She got West Nile virus and she died. And like I don't get it. Like I just think it's wrong. I just think of My Story Georgia, and I'm just going to rewrite it, and it's going to be called Bob. Like Bob?
It doesn't make sense.
If you're an author, write. And if you don't have a story to write, right now I have writer's block. I have a novel going and I have a short story collection going, and I've had writer's block. And it's probably because I'm cooped up in the house and I can't get any inspiration because of the stupid vid. But just be honest about that. But what I don't understand is that they try and create this atmosphere as though it's cool to completely retell the same story and get paid for it. It's like, have you no shame? I don't know. I mean, I follow the guy on Twitter. I'm new to Babylon 5 because I'm Canadian and I come from modest means, and I didn't have a $295 tiered cable system so I could watch Babylon 5. And, generally speaking, Canadians overstate how much access they've had to American sci-fi now that we have YouTube. It's a bit of fibbing, to be honest with you. But it's just I'm enjoying it. I'm having a wonderful time with it, but I don't see how it could be improved with CGI recast on the CW. Like the CW is a teenager network. It's like it's a teenager soap opera, glistening vampire network where everybody is kissing and everybody is standing in corridors talking about their feelings, and they're hugging it out and writing letters and passing them to one another in class. This is not Babylon 5, and it's definitely not a network conducive to Babylon 5. Last time I checked, CW is not a science fiction network. It's like a teeny bopper network for like romance and fantasy romance. It doesn't make any sense.
They're ostensibly going to have a bigger budget, but I don't really care about that. Hey, Keely Chow, hello there, and Punk Waddle, good to see you.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. This is funny. You might say it like as an off thing there, Alaric Harrison, but that actually, why not do a Babylon 6? It'd been the same universe all those years later after the original series, and decide you need another station and make new characters, and you can even bring a few of them back here and there once in a while, as sort of like as the Star Trek shows. Star Trek: The Next Generation is 80-something years after the original series, and Deep Space Nine it has a certain time period, then jump a little forward. How about doing stuff like that? And
they brought
explore
Scotty
your
back.
universe.
Yep.
But here's the thing: he's the original creator. Why wouldn't you want to explore your own universe with new characters the way Roddenberry did? Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah, well, doesn't I agree? Let's see what comes out, but it just does not compute. Does not make sense. It's like, why would you do that and just reimagine something? I mean, they just redid the series and did the 4K restoration, which was great. Spend the money on doing the special effects maybe if you want to, do new CGI, which just scaled up. But they're going to give us a new show, but based on the same characters. It's really mind-boggling, but I guess it's all for the dollars. So it's
right. Yep, it's just a shame. You could just do so much. I would have if he were just expanding his universe and going forward. Remakes are always about going backwards. I mean, they are regressive. They're regressive.
And Ash says, "Oi, you leave my glistening vampires alone, Raquel." Team Edward, but secretly Team Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, there's no denying its popularity, and there's no denying that some of these series have endeared themselves to people who were the precise age at which they needed to be in order to really enjoy it. I don't deny that. I let my daughter watch Xena Princess Warrior because I just thought it was hysterical and wonderful and but
love that show.
Do I want to see Xena Princess Warrior redone on the CW? Probably not. I don't know. I think it's shameless to continue to reboot this stuff, to redo, to regurgitate, to reimagine these same stories. I mean, have these authors no shame? I mean, go find a book. Go find a marvelous book with a marvelous story in it, a brand new science fiction story, and make a new person famous. Create another relationship with a storyteller. Whenever we have these storytellers directly delivering their stories to the public, magic happens. And every time we do these stupid reboots and these reimaginings and these redos, they fail terribly and everyone hates them, and it just makes fans angry. So let's just start calling it what it is. It's somebody trying to wring out every last penny from one story they wrote, and they are not capable of writing another, and they should own that. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's just true. How could you redo Babylon 5, and why would you put it on the CW?
Why would the same guy want to redo it? I just really don't get it. I mean, unless he's not proud of the show, and I always thought he was. And here's the thing. I have a few people saying stuff like, and look, I love my boy Doomcock and others who have said stuff like, well, they understand where we're coming from. They want to give it a chance. I mean, look, the give it a chance mentality sounds all nice and stuff in theory, but the thing is, I'll be sitting there giving it its chance going, wait a minute, I could already watch this. It's there to be watched, the old one. And I don't know how, not that every episode is brilliant or anything. I don't know how you're going to be better than that cast. I don't know how you're going to be better than that show, than that story. I don't know how I'm going to be watching people that aren't as good as Box Lightner and Andreas Kostoulis, have you say his name, and Peter Jurassic and Claudia Christian and Myra Furlong and Jerry Doyle and Billy Mumy and Stephen Furst and Jason Carter and Richard E. Biggs.
But Clubby, who are these people actually supporting? Are they actually giving the show a chance, or are they giving Naked Avarice a chance?
No, I'm talking about people who are trying to be fair.
I'm not giving the new Babylon 5 a chance, just like I didn't give any Star Trek after 2005 a chance, because a chance is code for Naked Avarice. That's what you're giving a chance to. You're giving a chance for somebody to make more money off of the same story and likely do it in a crappier way. That's nothing honorable to support. When people are like, well, did you give the Star Trek after 2005 a chance? No, that's just code for, did you sup the mush? Did you imbibe the pablum, the corporate pablum, so that they could make as much money as possible by rebooting something that they should not have touched, something that was endeared to our society and our culture, our popular culture. So for me, I don't even like the "I'll give it a chance." What chance? It's not chance. It's
I don't get it
given
either.
to naked avarice. Pay these people money to watch it
Yeah.
again, and that's crap.
Look, no, I'm just trying to be polite because there are people that I like very much who are saying that I'm friends with and I care about. I'm just simply saying, I'm saying if you're my friend, I won't hate you because you give this thing a chance.
Yeah.
No.
I'm talking about from my own personal point of view. I don't think you're gonna. I see it as zero possibility that I could like anyone else in those roles, or any show with the same name redoing the same, allegedly, ostensibly remaking, and that's what he's saying he's doing, remaking those stories. Personally, I cannot see any point to wasting the time to see those stories retold with actors who are nowhere they're going to be anywhere as good as that cast. So that's why I have no interest in giving it a chance. If you want to do it, knock yourself out. It's just something that I don't even understand the mentality. I don't get you.
Yeah, it's not like
I
Doctor
totally
Who.
agree.
Well, I was gonna say it's not like Doctor Who with coming back to Doctor Who. It's like you're extending the show or doing something different with a new actor. This is rehashing the same old stuff. So it's. I could see doing a director's cut.
Money.
Yeah, it's for money. Yeah, but I could see doing maybe a director's cut of a couple of episodes, maybe, or we've seen
why don't we accept that? Why are we even having this conversation? Why are we like this now, where we allow a corporation to say, look, we told you this story before. We want to tell you this story exactly the same way again, only now it's going to be different actors. We should demand that we are told new stories, and people should stop hiding behind nostalgia. People should, especially Hollywood, they should stop hiding behind the nostalgia epidemic, where it's just like, hey, if you like B5, we're going to redo B5 because we know you like it. It's just, like I said, there's nothing sincere or good about it. It's naked avarice, and I don't need to give it a chance. I want Hollywood to stop doing it. Hollywood needs to go and find some storytellers and tell direct stories from storytellers, not from corporate IPs and franchises that teams of corporate writers are now rewriting so that it can be told again and again and again to maximize profit on it. For me, it's just, I want to be polite. I love my friends too, but the give it a chance argument for me is kind of tired and super naive, because all we're doing is giving a corporation a chance to make more money off of something they already made money on. How is that good? And they're doing it by extorting our need for nostalgia, our existential crisis. We're going to die. And hey, remember when you were 16 and you first watched that? Wasn't it great? That's what they're cashing in on. And so for me, it's just kind of like, you know what? I don't need to give anything a chance. F that.
Sharon,
no, I agree with that. But the one example I would give that was a good example, or for the right reasons, was TMP, where the director said, he couldn't, fulfill his original vision, and the time constraints, and they added a few scenes and did some special effects, and they're finally giving us that in 4K, thank God. So the Star Trek the motion picture, that's kind of was a gift to fans, I think, by the director and by the studio. But that's when was that done? Maybe 15 years ago they did that director's cut. I'm trying to remember. But those are the kind of things that as fans love to see, where they clean up the movie or add a few scenes, or the director says I couldn't get this movie out in time, and I had to get the movie out on time, so these things got cut or changed or edited, and it's not drastically changing the movie. It's still a fantastic movie. But I love that TMP version, but of course the original is fantastic too. So you've got both there, but but now it's just the studios they're out of ideas, so it's just terrible to see these things getting hashed over, sequel after sequel after sequel. And when you think about all the Marvel movies, as great as those Marvel movies are, they're using the stories from the comic books too. For the most part, they're not writing new stories. It's all the stories and themes from the comics. So that's why when you get like a movie like Alien, or you get a Terminator franchise, but then they got to keep going back to that well again. And I watched the first, and I'm a huge Terminator fan of the first two movies. You watch that, the first 5 minutes of the latest piece of garbage, and I just shut it off after the scene in the bar. It's like you just negated the whole series. Why did you do that? To portray, you had to portray a woman as a savior. It can't be the original hero. You got to kill him in the first 5 minutes. It's like, no, thank you, turning it off. So that's what's.
No, I'm totally. I just want to address one thing before we address Ash. Captain James, if he says if you won't give it a chance, you won't find out Superman Lois is good. I actually sort of like the show a little bit. So no one's saying never give anything a chance if that's what you're drawing from this. I'm talking about specifically in this point, seeing Babylon 5 remade holds no interest for me, and I have no interest in giving it a chance. If you're extrapolating that we're saying never give anything a chance, that would not be
what I am saying is that it's not noble, and people should stop pretending that it's noble, because bringing stuff back and applying a whole bunch of political propaganda to it is not noble.
No, that's what they're going to be doing. You're right.
Yeah. I just want people to be more honest about this relationship and what the corporations are doing. The corporations aren't excited about retelling you a story. It's not like you're sitting on mom and dad's lap and they're reading you your favorite Robert Munch story and they're just going to tell you in a different voice. Nothing innocent and beautiful and sincere is happening here. This is people exploiting nostalgia. Well, not people. It's a corporation exploiting nostalgia, and I think it's important to be honest about it.
Yeah, there you go. Raquel Esh asks, "Do you think it could be because video game remakes and remasters are so successful, and the other industries want a piece of that cheddar?" Well, it makes sense to me, but they want the money. You're right about that. So, yeah.
Well, that's exactly totally what I think is happening. And this is about corporations, and it should be about storytelling. Yes, I saw this earlier, and my puppies are tearing up a bunch of paper, so they're going to be super loud in the background.
Oh, we love that. Yeah. We love the puppies. Yep.
That's okay.
Well, Brett Cohen says, "Okay, Raquel, I'm perplexed as we need to give adverts a chance, but not a new edition. So I don't give anything Disney a chance, but thought about it might have Free Guy, but still went Disney, but ads watch." Okay, so obviously there are a few errors here that have happened due to autocorrect or autocomplete and the medium. So. But I think I understand what you're saying, Brett Cohen, that you have heard me speak before on other shows about the lack of advertisements, so ad aversion and its impact on Hollywood and storytelling. And that is a completely different show that we could discuss. I will say this, that when I appeared on those other shows, I was not given an opportunity to fully explain what I was trying to say. And certainly it deserves a seminar, a graduate seminar, or a full lecture in a classroom about what that's all about. And where I can start you off, Brett Cohen, in fully understanding this very, very complex issue is I want you to go on DuckDuckGo and look up attention economy. And when you look up attention economy, you're going to learn how when you have a type of technology and it diffuses in society, we learn it, we harness its power, and we start to use it, and it diffuses in society. It has a certain type of control. It has a certain type of life cycle. And right now, in years past, when we watched quality television shows, we had we paid a $100 to $300 cable bill. At the same time, we had networks that were buying these shows. And then we also watched a lot of commercials. And this facilitated this high level of storytelling and production that we're used to. But if you take all that money away and there are no longer any types of advertising and there are no longer any types of commercials, and all you're doing is streaming, what you're doing is you're depriving the industry of money to pay people to tell stories. And so you can wind up in this cycle where you're constantly rebooting stuff because it's guaranteed to satisfy the viewer, that it's guaranteed to sell. And so that's what's happening right now. And something else is happening that is a very complex issue, which is the attention economy. And the attention economy says that within a decade, the online advertising ecosystem will be worth $982.82 billion. And right now, that is what is selling. We're online all the time. We're on social media all the time. And this is the ecosystem where the funds are transpiring. So now when you look at an ad, when you read a newspaper article, and there are ads on the side and there are ads on the bottom, you're creating this impression metric, vanity metric ecosystem. And that's how the corporations make money. So what we're doing is we're incentivizing this $982.82 billion online ecosystem in which we can and cannot escape from ads. And so that's where they're throwing all of their energy. And there is no more incentive to have creators and storytellers to make beautiful things. And this has something to do with the way that entertainment and the way that technology works in society. It worked the same way with radio. And it's going to work the same way as it did with television. These forms of entertainment rely very heavily on advertising. They always have, and they always will. Radio was the whole reason why radio shows were invented was to sell radios. And once they realized people were tuning into radio, then they started making these shows because they realized they could make way more money if they had people tuning into that. So, like I said, my puppies are going nutso here in the background, and it's very hard for me to concentrate on what I'm saying. But Brett Cohen, if you'd like to join me on Twitter, I have a private account, so you'll have to request it. I will approve you. And I talk about this in depth, providing in-text citation and resources for you to uncover how Hollywood actually works and how technology and media work in our society, how we force obsolescence and how we create money around these industries. And I will tell you that the attention economy has created a very, very scary place in moving forward. I do think that we may actually get to a point where we will provide the content and we will be the only content. And what I mean by that is I believe that YouTube will be the next Facebook, and everyone will be on it, and everyone will have ads. And in order to, watch grandma make her bread and so on and so forth, you'll be watching ads. It will be very immersive. And there are things that we can do to stop that, to stave that off, and create a more honest relationship with how money is created, how revenue is created in order to make arts and entertainment. But that's something that requires me talking for like an hour, and no one on here wants to hear that.
We do.
We're glad we do, and we also would hear the dogs aggravate you too, because that's fun.
Yeah.
Well, hello, Six. Hello, Six. Welcome.
I'm going to just press mute for a second.
Go
I'm just going to take the papers away from the puppies, and then you know what? Then we can actually talk about this for a little bit, and maybe I can provide some resources. I will be just two eggs of two very small tails.
Six, hello there. Welcome. Lovely to see you. Hey. Welcome. And it's good to see you all here. And Hungry Boy, what's up, buddy? There you go.
Yeah, don't eat comics, little puppers out there.
Yeah. We like we think it's funny that those dogs are bugging Raquel because
Yeah. The 2-pound tyrants. Yep.
yeah, yep.
No, but
I think
Raquel's
one
got a
time,
great point about that. You know, we all complain about ads and watching, you know, TV shows with ads. Oh, darn the ads! But you know that pays for the show, right? So without
yeah,
ads, what do you know? And you know, as much as you know the vid has affected you know state of Hollywood. I mean, do you want to have some great new movies? I mean, if you know, basically we've been reduced. You know, now I guess all we get is superhero and subpar James Bond movies. So it's you know, if the movie industry goes bust, what you know, Raquel's right. You know, what are you going to get? I mean,
yeah,
everyone will have their own YouTube shows. Or as much as I love, you know, some of the content creators and you know, people don't have $80 million budgets out there to make you know $100 million budgets to make movies. So it's going to be an interesting landscape going down in the future. You know, in the future to see where budgets go and how much movies make. So you know, Venom. I think you know, like we we're saying, the new one's only made 127 million. So you know, there's no longer bankable box office where you know you're going to get your investment back. So it's going to be. I think you're going to see a lot more streaming, and maybe it'll end up being better. Like you know, some of the you know, like you love that Netflix Daredevil show, like I do. You know, obviously much smaller budget. You've got more time to tell a story instead of compressing it into an hour and a half, 2 hours. So in the long run, maybe it'll work out better. But it's going to be interesting to see where the industry goes.
yep, yeah. Well, and you talked about that. You know, it was just threatened that they're going to bring that Daredevil back, but it's going to be on Disney Plus with some of the same cast, and they're going to. Oh, they're gonna ruin it. They're gonna not gonna pay attention to the original, and they're probably gonna. Oh boy.
And Punisher might be coming back now too.
Yeah,
I read
on Disney. Jesus.
Well, I guess would they put him on Hulu? I guess, or how could it be on
No,
Disney?
no, it's gonna be on Disney.
Wow, how does that happen?
Yeah. Daredevil. Look how gory and bloody and violent Daredevil is, and Punisher. That's gonna be on. Jesus. Oh my goodness. How are the doggies?
They're far better. I'm sorry about that,
It's okay.
everyone. But yeah.
All right, Chris Persia. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Thanks, Chris.
good
Yep.
night,
Take care. Good night, Chris Persia.
Yeah, man. We appreciate you, bro. Yeah, we're close to done anyway. But if you had anything to add, Raquel, or anything to to finish your point on,
yeah. I don't have anything prepped right now because I wasn't planning on talking about it tonight, but I certainly am not opposed to having a full discussion on it. I have received dozens and dozens of letters of folks who would like me to speak on it. I haven't had the time, and I haven't really had the format because I don't have my own YouTube channel to do that. But I would strongly caution you against holding me to what I said when I was on to major shows, because on those major shows I was cut off and I was not able to discuss the topic in a scholarly way, in an academic way, and to be able to flesh out what's happening. But I'm going to reiterate my same point. It's very important for folks to connect with the attention economy. That's what it's called. And that is what is going to emerge in a post-streaming world. It's been very difficult for Netflix to make a profit, and not being able to have access to cable fees and advertising has been very hard on an industry that has relied on advertising literally since it began. And so we're going to be seeing some major changes where, you have invention, then you have innovation, and you have adoption, and you have competence, and then you have diffusion, and then you have invention, and then you have innovation, and it's a cyclical process. And so right now, where the money is, where Clobby, how much money did the last Marvel movie make?
well, that would be I guess if they're count right now, Mark was talking about it. Technically, I guess Venom 2 is the latest one. I mean, sort of a Marvel movie, unless you're talking about Shang-Chi, but it didn't do
Not well.
super great business. And then, Black Widow was kind of hurt because they released it simultaneously in theaters and on what you call Disney Plus.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So how many millions do you think it made?
Well, here I'll tell you what
You'll know.
the latest here for domestic yearly.
While you're doing
Here
that,
we go.
you got it here. Okay, Ash. I'm just gonna say, Ash. I've heard that they're doing it again. They're bringing it back. It's Daredevil, but it's gonna be sort of a soft reboot with the same actors. They're not being very clear on that, but I'm very concerned about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, Shang-Chi, 207 million gross.
Okay.
Black Widow, 183. F9, 173. Quiet Place, 160. Free Guy, 118. Jungle Cruise, 116. Venom, Let There Be Carnage, 106, but it's only out 2 weeks. Yeah. And Godzilla versus King Kong, 100 million. So if you come, and that was also simultaneously released. But yeah, if you look at those
not
numbers,
very much money.
No money.
It's not
Yeah.
very
So
much
how
money.
are you going to make? And that's why they were Hollywood was banking so much on the international box office, and
and it's also why these huge corporations are starting to shift their focus. And we're going to see companies like Amazon doing really, really well, because Amazon doesn't make a lot of money off of its streaming. Where it's making its big bucks is you online shopping. Even when you're on YouTube and you're clicking through ads and you're clicking on things, you're making money for people.
Yeah.
And your eyeballs are the new economy. And so I guess when Clobby's asking me if I want to add to that point, I want you to, since I don't have anything prepared, I want you to go home. If you're in the audience tonight, I want you to go on your computer or on your phone, and I want you to look up attention economy. And I want you to look up a fellow by the name of Tristan Harris. And I want you to start engaging with how money is made by where you are. And so because you're online, that's where the money is. The money is not in the theater anymore. The money is not in the television set anymore. Everyone is unplugging their television sets. Everyone is unplugging their cable, and you're carrying your little factory in the living room now in your pocket. And so that the things that I said on those occasions were speaking to that greater point of that attention economy and this advertising bonanza that corporations are going to be gunning for now. And we're going to see them struggle as they transition. If you look online at the way Disney makes money, Disney does not make money off of its films. Disney makes money off of its television networks, and people are unplugging their television networks. Disney makes a lot of money off of ESPN. And if you're watching ESPN, look at that beautiful Home Depot desk and all of the ads and commercials that come before and after it. And all of that is coming to an end. So I just want everyone at home to realize that we are watching these huge corporations, massive corporations, having to steer these massive ships in a different direction. And some of it has been ugly, and it has not been easy for them. And that is the greater picture of what is happening. You are the money, and soon you are going to be not only the money, but the content. And we have de-incentivized making great films and great television because we've taken all of the money out of it. And so that might not be what everyone wants to hear, but that is the nature of the way that advertising works in arts and entertainment. Arts and entertainment cannot live without advertising and cable services. If you have a Netflix account and you share it with 7 people you know and love, that's a part of the problem. You can't make films when 5 people pay, $20 for one account, and so on and so forth. So very complex issue. Please don't hold me to account on what was said on those bigger shows, because as I said, I was not allowed to discuss the attention economy and this $982.82 billion in advertising that the corporations are now eager to suck up. And that's about it.
Excellent.
No, well said.
Excellent.
Well said. Yeah.
Well said as always. And you were always allowed here. So there you go.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, look at cable TV when it was first out. They promised no ads, but how long did that last when they realized?
Yeah.
They realized that just the fee from producing, from getting cable wasn't enough, and you had a few premium channels that didn't have ads, like an HBO or a movie channel, but very soon you had advertising on all your cable channels. So Raquel makes a fantastic point there.
Well, my students are very, very shocked every time they learn, especially through communication historiography in multiple textbooks and through multiple readings, that radio started through advertising, and the radio was to facilitate advertising. They're even more shocked and completely freaked out when they find out that that's the nature of television. They think that they're under the impression that television, film and not film, but television shows are just there. They don't realize that the entire mechanism is designed around advertising. And
sell more soap.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the corporations are doing. And there are very few corporations in this world that own all of this stuff. They are very few in number, and they're quite eager to get at this. And people need to realize that this cycle of media and technology is transpiring in our epoch, because of course now we have the conflation of film and television in streaming. So this is unprecedented, but in that way. For the corporations, they have no idea how they're going to make money. Go and look at how Netflix is doing. Very scary. And so, yeah, when I'm telling people that they should warm up to advertising, I just want you to realize that there is an entire generation before you that can sing 10 or 15 jingles, but they also got to enjoy television networks that were willing to take a risk on actual storytellers. They didn't have to watch reboots. They didn't have to watch remakes, because the incentive was to entice people to get in front of the television so that they could watch ads. Imagine a magazine without ads. Imagine a radio without ads. Even in the invention of the car, the next thing that they invented, billboards. We are immersed in advertising. So when we walk away from it, there are going to be consequences. I don't argue for advertising. I argue for the fact that conventional advertising puts the regular person in control. It puts the Joe Schmo in control, whereas the attention economy and the impression metric economy puts the corporation in control. That when they're advertising and making stuff for us, they literally describe it in marketing as, now, because there's no demographic and psychographic, taking a bucket of water and throwing it up against the wall. This is not good for us. We're no longer in control. You don't watch Kojak and there's a psychographic and a demographic and they're not showing you products that you like. Instead, you have to fight through a sea of ads online, and none of it applies to you. It becomes annoying, it becomes insane, and it's not good. And it's just leading them to all of these reboots and these remakes because they know that you will rewatch this stuff. So they sell you on this idea that nostalgia is this great thing. There is a much bigger picture taking shape, and it would require a full lecture by me, and definitely a seminar, and me providing you with multiple reading materials. And that's just the case of it. And I'm sorry if people are disappointed that I can't go any further extemporaneously.
You did wonderfully. Don't worry about it. And I tell you what, I really appreciate everyone hanging out here with us tonight at Clobby's Clubhouse, episode 2. It has been wonderful hanging with two of my greatest friends ever, R.M. Briggs and the great Mark D with a C, and all of you. You've all been fantastic. And if anyone has any closing words, or I'll just start. I
have one rant I have to give, because I was watching something on Netflix, and Mrs. D was like, "What are you yelling at down there? What's going on?" I'm like, the guy was using expletives. We're like, all right, Seinfeld. I love the show about nothing. I know it's a stupid show. Why the F do broadcasters insist on blowing up my old 4x3 TV shows and making them widescreen format, making them look blurry, and then cutting out the sides? Give me my black bars back, or give me an option. A show, I mean, it's not a visual show, but it looks like shit. Sorry, that's my rant. What are you doing to Seinfeld? Seinfeld doesn't need to be 1080p, all right? Give it to me in 4x3.
Right.
I was screaming. She's like, what's going on down there? I'm like, why do you? And they're doing it with all the old sports broadcasts. You're watching an old, like the Michael Jordan, the awesome documentary. I'm telling my kids, like, the basketball games didn't look that bad back then. Of course, then they tell me, well, Dad, it wasn't so bad because I was watching on my phone. What are you watching the Michael Jordan, story on your phone? If you're supposed to be watching those great Bulls games. I'm not a big basketball fan, but, those are epic games, and you're watching them, and they're blowing them up, and they look like crap. So that's the Mark D rant. Don't blow up my my damn old videos. Leave them like they were. 4x3.
Oh, well, we needed that.
Language, yeah. And Steve mentioned.
We needed that.
Mark said bad language word, yeah. Steve Rogers is going to come after me. Yeah.
Well, we needed that. There you go. And by the way, yeah, look, we'll be here every Thursday night at this time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for Clobby'S Clubhouse, and it will always be the three of us. And we appreciate you all being here. And I'll do a quick show note. Let's see here. Saturday night. If we have any Star Trek fans here, and I know we do.
A
few. We've been having a fantastic time with all of you. So Saturday night Star Trek, 9 p.m. Central. My wonderful first officer, Miss Briggs herself, the blue smart lady, as our Captain Spock calls you, because you're blue sometimes, because you're an Andorian sometimes. I love that when he calls you that. Oh, yeah, you probably hadn't heard it, but he does it on you. And he's a good pal. He loves us, so we love him. We have 4 more episodes. Number 1, Saturday night. We do. And you've all been fantastic with our Star Trek The Next Generation. For those who don't know, we're reviewing all of real Star Trek. We started on the beginning of the first week in January. We reviewed the original series, the animated series, the original crew films, and now, of course, we are just now getting into the 3rd season. Yes, we survived the first 2 seasons of Star Trek The Next Generation, and we are now in full steam into season 3. So 4 more episodes this Saturday night. If you have not already, please join us, because we have a lot of fun with a great, just a great crew, and it's
awesome time. Great time in that chat. Oh, it's fun.
A lot of fun. And let's see here. Monday night Mark C Comics Talk. The aforementioned character Daredevil. I'm going to be going back. I do a lot of old comics history stuff here, of course. And I'll be talking about the pre-Miller Daredevil, the one that existed 16 years before Frank Miller came along and made him a big downer. I love Miller Daredevil. I'm just kind of kidding, but I do love the happy-go-lucky, fun old hornhead, as they used to call him. And of course, there's a link in my description below for my Clobby'S Comics Corner videos, and they're not much. They're very simple, and they're not even well made, but I have a lot of fun.
People love them. Don't listen to him. People love these videos. They're great.
They suck,
where do I get a spinner rack? I want a spinner rack.
Yes, this is my spinner rack time machine. I take you back 50 years to 1971, and you come into my comic shop, and we pick new comics that were on sale back then. And, and I have a lot of fun with that. But yes, and thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Sherry. Excellent. Sherry just walked through the door.
Oh, Sherry, how you doing? Good to see you. So, yes, that's Clobby'S Comics. What was that? Oh, that's pretty cool.
Believe it or not, when I said Sherry, my phone thought I said Siri.
Oh, I got you. Well, and, since everyone was getting on me earlier about not thinking I was a party pooper about Halloween, I'm not. So the Global Geek Gang, which was today and every Thursday, we have a Halloween themed. We have a Halloween themed Global Geek Gang for October now, and so there. Darth Aster, what's up, dude? Oh, I love the Miller run. I'm just going to cover the times before that. The times before that, and so and there again, there's how you like that, Ash. You're the man. Brett Cohen, with a $10 super sticker. Thank you
That's
so
cute.
much, Brett Cohen. You were too kind. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yes, and I hope. Look, yes, we are Halloween friendly here. I was just picking on everyone. Last night
It's
there
the
was
ween.
it's the week. So my wonderful first officer Raquel here is obviously you've heard her speak in a scholarly fashion. She's also an author, and I would like for her now to tell us about her works. After I move this picture out of the way.
You are such a kind person to allow me to promote my stuff on your channel. I love you very
nothing
much,
to it.
Clobby. Yeah, I write science fiction, and I write short stories and flash fiction. And so if you like science fiction and you like short stories and you like stuff like Philip K. Dick and The Outer Limits and Edgar Allan Poe and H.G. Wells, you might like my stuff. So all you have to do is go on Amazon and look up R.M. Briggs. You can download it onto any device, Android or Apple. It's also available on Kindle, and you can also get it, I think, on Goodreads. So I would definitely appreciate your support, because I'm trying to put together a short story collection. And I appreciate it. Every story is under $1. I think they're only 74 cents for Americans. So I hope you'll support my work. And if you like my stories, obviously I'm not doing it for the money at 74 cents, but please leave a positive review for me.
Absolutely. And Steve mentioned, don't you ever apologize for that, dude. And good luck with that. Man, dude, are you kidding me? As long as we've been friends, dude, I'm going to have to ask you to smack yourself upside the head now. Bonk, bonk on the head, bad kid.
Bonk, bonk on the head.
And there's, of course, the great Mark D with a C,
Yay!
Buddy. Thank you. So
he has a great channel. Here's a link to his channel. Tell us about what you got going on, bud.
Well, something special this Sunday, because I'm headed to Comic-Con in New York City. So if anyone in the chat is out there, cool. So I'm on Sunday. So I'm going Sunday. I'm going to try to do some live streaming. I've got one of those fancy dancy gimbals, or I'm going to see what I can, get it to work. Maybe no sound, right? Pat S, if Pat S is out there joking. I always screw up the audio, but at the very least, I'll record some video, take a ton of pictures. And I've heard it's not that crowded, which could be good because I don't like huge crowds. But then again, you're in a convention like that, it's like, these are my people. So it's, it's always a welcoming place, and it's a fun place. So, look for that Sunday Night Geekery with, I'm sure Clobberin Times will be there. And
will you be doing the show? You'll be back in time to do the show?
I should be back in time, yeah, because it ends at 9. But I think usually we leave. You spend a whole day there, you're wiped out. So, I think I should be back in time. Watch the Twitters. Maybe I'll push it back to 11 But I'm just looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's just a great experience. You had to, go through a lot of hoops and basically facial scans and all this stuff to prove that you're compliant and to get there. But that's another story for another time. But a lot of creators dropped out, a lot of companies, but screw it. It's going to be fun to actually get back there after it was canceled last year, and going with some buddies who love comics. And last time I was there, I had a great hall of artwork and fun times. And when you can get, that's what you really miss is getting out and meeting people and hanging with people. And it's just it should be a lot of fun. So try to join me Sunday night if you can. Appreciate it. And I've had a couple of tour review videos, and enabling is a new segment I'm doing, trying to get you to spend your hard-earned money. So appreciate being on here and and having me as a guest. It's just great hanging with you two guys that are good friends now, and just appreciate the chance to be on here and spout my views and just hang out with everyone. So it's really great to be here, and thank you very much.
Well, thank you, buddy. Ash has a question for Raquel. Is it possible to crowdfund creation of a short story collection a la Indigo or Kickstarter? I wouldn't see why not. I guess you could, couldn't you? I don't know.
I could probably do that. I haven't really looked into it. But before we go anywhere, and while I still have the floor, I would also like to say that Mark D with a C is a talented maker. If you ever wanted to have something made from geekdom or nerddom, he does 3D printing and he does some marvelous stuff. You should see his Doomsday Machine. Check out his Doomsday Machine on his channel. Mark is very modest, but he's very talented. So he doesn't, it's not just toys that you can buy that he reviews and geek paraphernalia. He's also talented at making them himself. So I encourage you to check that out because it's just delightful to have somebody making things. Like the guy made a Doomsday Machine.
Thank you.
And they're for sale and they're scale, everyone. They'll fit on your desk. He did such a wonderful job. You have to check out that video. I hope it goes viral because it's just absolutely outstanding.
Thank you. I love, thank you. Appreciate that very much. Yep.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. You are all amazing. And you make it so much fun for us. We have fun just hanging out together anyway, when it's just us behind the scenes. But hanging out with you, it makes it even more fun just to talk to all of you out there. And we appreciate you. I think 6. Thank you for popping in 6. She had to leave, I believe. Did someone say Sherry popped in?
She did.
Sherry was there. Yep.
Sherry. Thank you, Sherry. We want to thank the ladies first because, the guys, you guys are on your own.
Yeah.
The great Steve Mitchum, of course, Captain James T. Skywalker, the extraordinary Chris Persia. Big shout out to the great Eric K. If you're out there, brother, we love you, man. And I'll put an E in my chat for you. So, yes. Ash Singh, Ash, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. And Retro, thanks, bro, for being here. Global Geek Gang members extraordinary. Again, thank you so much, Matthew Pounder. I think I said Brett already, but Brett Cohen, thank you. Let me see how many people I can remember who were here because my memory. Punk Waddle, thank you so much. Hungry Boy, buddy, thank you. Let's see here. I already said the great Steve Mitchum, I believe, and Matthew Pounder. So I'm trying to find some of these. Pop Culture Republic, thank you so much. Let's see who else was here. I can't remember everyone. It's been a while. The great Phantom Outsider was here, of course.
You say Zathras? I'm forgetting who you said.
Zathras
That's how bad
my
memory is too.
No, good one though. Zathras had to run, but Zathras, of course. Alara Karosim was here. Kal-El was here. And if they're gone, that's okay. I just like acknowledging them anyway.
Mr. and Mrs. Dadman.
Raymond was here. Mr. and Mrs. Dadman, the wonderful Mr. Dadman. Yep. All kind of wonderful people were here, and we appreciate you. Chris Persia, we had to run, I think, but we appreciate him, and we love you all, and we're going to show you this wonderful. Can I say outro just for the fun of it?
Of course you can. You can say whatever you want.
This wonderful intro, outro, extra that
incredible.
My amazing first officer made. The wonderful Raquel made this for our special, just for Clobby'S Clubhouse. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Central. We hope you all will join us again next week. And, of course, we hope you'll join us for a lot of stuff. Star Trek and comics and open talk on Wednesday nights and Global Geek Gang and this and all that stuff. Until then, everyone have a wonderful rest of your night and a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. We love you, my friends.